Get ready, folks. It's time to go back in time to March of 2002. WrestleMania X8 live NITROSTAKE coming at ya.
You got the little man, you got the big man, and you got the bigger man.
Well, hello, everybody. It is Kellen Nitro, part of Nitromaniac TV's Wrestling Unlimited, coming at you in a second night in a row, this time with a classic NITROSTAKE coming at you. And man, like I said, we're going back in time, all the way back in 2002, I should say, WrestleMania X8 from Toronto, Ontario, the Sky Dome, Icon versus Icon, all the hyperbole. We're going to check it out right now. First things first, we bring to the stage my co-conspirator in this. I am the hardcore fan. He is the Laps fan. It is Mr. TL. Mr. TL, how you doing?
I am the Laps fan.
Okay. A little V1 action there. A little Matt Hardy. I love it. And, of course, we bring in the new fan as well. And this was his pick. This is his show, his pick this time around on the rotator. And it is Mr. CraigPFraser on the line. Mr. Fraser, how you doing?
I'm coming to you live from the Nautical Sub.
Oh, my God.
We did it. We did another trip. Fantastic. Hopefully this one doesn't implode. I'm coming to you from the porthole.
Apparently, Fraser's coming to us from June of this year. So
it's just a roll of hockey tape.
It is.
That's all you need for moving magic.
I love it. I love it. There we go. Forced perspective. Yes.
And it's disappearing in his hand.
I'm running out of ideas.
I like it. It's very good. I
don't have any more masks or LARP helmets. I'm kind of screwed.
If you'd like to donate that type of stuff, feel free to hit up the tip bucket over on Drag Files, and we'll make sure that it comes over to this channel. So, because we ain't got tip buckets set up yet here on this side, we will once we get enough subscribers. But there we go. So, by the way, I got a new gimmick. I got to switch this over. There we go. Oh, it moves now.
Moving background.
It does.
I feel fancy.
Very retro, very synthwavy, very moving. So, anyways, if you want to get in contact with us during the show tonight, your thoughts about this legendary card, WrestleMania X8 from Toronto, Ontario, back in 2002, feel free to throw your comments in the comments section below. If you're watching us live, you're checking us out on YouTube through the Wrestling Unlimited channel, through the Wrestling Unlimited Facebook page, through my Twitter at Kellen Nitro. We're also up through the Elite Wrestling Society, and we are also on the old freakingnitro.com Facebook page. So come on over and subscribe. tinyurl.com/Nitromaniac TV, like it says on the shirt here, and you can subscribe up and not miss a second of what we got coming in December as well. But we're doing this show first. So, first of all, how's everybody doing tonight?
Fantastic.
Right on. That's good. And Mr. TL?
Doing good. Off of last night, doing very good.
Yeah, we had a monster show last night with Survivor Series, CM Punk back in the fold, and so on and so forth. That's modern wrestling. We're here to talk classic wrestling, though. So we're going to go into...
I will say, just quickly, too, I see I is repping his Pittsburgh Steelers, his black and gold, and Denver Broncos also picking up a W today, helping out the Steelers, beating the Cleveland Browns. So a little cheersy poo to Ty.
I can't cheers. My Seahawks lost to the 49ers on Thursday, so
little Thanksgiving football victories.
No,
I'm going to the wolf pack, man. Hit it with a wolf pack.
Too sweet. I like it. There you go.
Get in here too if you want.
God damn it, Gino, throw more passes. Well, they were against San Francisco, though. San Francisco just ate their lunch, and that was it. So
San Francisco's pretty tough.
They're a tough team. Yeah, they're gonna be good in the playoffs. Yeah. I do like watching George Kittle play too. The guy is just a bundle of energy out there. I love it. So we also have some. Sorry, what?
I said you just like him because he likes Penta Octagon Jr., whatever his name is.
I like him because he's a wrestling fan. Yes, he's unabashed
I knew it.
WWE and AEW fan. So yes, there we go. We have some business to take care of from last game, or from last show, I should say. Last show, last game.
Oh,
we have
go
some
on.
business to take care of. Remember, Craig brought up the idea of, and we had the whole discussion of, is wrestling LARP? And so we put it to a fan vote out on the community tab, and we have the results of said fan vote. Are you guys interested?
I probably got roasted.
I'm not.
Wow. So split decision here. Anyways, here we go. So the results of the fan vote go as follows. 75% think totally. So Fraser is correct again. So
No. I told you, the truth is not a matter of democracy. The truth is the truth. It's just, in this case, more people believe in the lie. 25% understand the truth. I'm with you, my 25%ers.
Governor Ventura, do you wish to rebuttal?
Ty, as you well know,
I told you.
I've won many elections in the home state of Minnesota. History is written by the victors. History is written by the victors. I think I've given wrestling a fantastic compliment.
Yeah,
by doing this.
Yeah,
it shows how dedicated wrestlers are to their craft. That's the point.
Yeah, listen back to the show.
They are athletes. They're entertainers. They are tough sons of guns.
Yep.
And they put it out there on the line every day, every week. Not every day, but every week. Most days of every week.
We don't want it every day because
for us,
that's why we're losing people.
Sit here and talk about it.
Yeah,
it is a compliment.
For sure. Full show.
I'll never convince them.
Full show. That's it.
No, you won't.
So yeah, feel free, folks, as we go along. Like I said, throw up the comments, and they'll show up on the bottom like this. So feel free to hit us up if any questions or comments you may have on this legendary card. And I will also at this time bring forth Undertaker. At the bottom of the screen is the Nitromaniac TV's Undertaker with all of the results, match times from WrestleMania X8, Sunday, March 17th. 2002, and that's where we go right now. Yes, WrestleMania X8. This is the larger attendance of the two Toronto WrestleManias for the record. Yes, this was 68-2. Hang on, I got the notes right here.
68,236.
Yeah, 68-237. So
wow.
You counted one person out. There's one ticket vendor you didn't count, or one guy that was like, late to the party. So I got some props for later here too. So we will hit those up as we go along. Booyah. So
nice.
Yes. The broadcast opens with saliva.
Oh man. God. So when I watched this on Friday night.
Yes.
I watched this with Bailey, my wife. And
okay. Yeah.
We were over at our friend's house, Taylor and Kayla, who neither of them really watched wrestling ever growing up. And they wanted, Kayla was like, I think wrestling's hilarious. I want to watch it with you guys. So I had 3 newbies with me.
Oh, wow.
Watching
this.
Throw her an invite next time. We'll throw her a link. And if she wanted to come on and talk about her experiences, go ahead. Yeah.
And both ladies, my wife and Kayla, they're really good friends. They were both entertained as hell. They were laughing through all of it. They called Hulk Hogan a weird sex grandpa with his belt. It was really awkward. It was hilarious. And my friend fell asleep during the main event. So it was like,
oh, hey, there we go.
Taylor was not enthused enough.
That's pretty accurate.
When Saliva came on screen, all 4 of us at the same time just went, oh, like this is how old we're talking. We're going Josie Scott Saliva too. Like we're going back.
We are, yeah. So this for me was grade 11. So I was in high school when this event came out, and so yeah, for grade 11 Kellen Nitro, this was the be all end all because they had hyped this thing the month prior on WWE TV and that stuff and whatever, and then TSN, who held the broadcast rights at the time for WWE, were hyping the hell out of this because this was in Toronto, right? So you had wrestlers on Off the Record, you had wrestlers hosting Sports Center, you had wrestlers on like the NHL pregame stuff, you had wrestlers all over TSN that week going into the pay-per-view. Like, I mean, like there's some great interviews out there that off the record that Michael Landsberg did with like The Undertaker and Chris Jericho and Stephanie McMahon and Trish Stratus. And I think he did like an entire WWE week and it just had people pop in, which was just phenomenal TV. And then the night of WrestleMania, I remember going to go watch this in the old Famous Players movie theaters, which no longer exists, but went to go I think I went to West End with my cousin to go check this out. And then when we got back, we were shocked to find out that they were actually showing highlights of this event on Sports Center next to the hockey highlights from that night, which was huge. This is March of 2002, so the NHL is getting ready for playoffs. It's the last month of the regular season, right? And so to see highlights from the matches on Sports Center, kapooey, you know, my mind is just blowing at that point. So that's what I remember about it, is just being this thing being hyped to all hell. It was amazing. It was
I remember
seeing that.
Yeah, just go ahead, Ty. You go.
I was saying I totally remember seeing that on Sports Center. I remember one because it's a tandem that does the thing, and one of them was into wrestling and doing all the highlights, and the other one was kind of making fun of it and taking the piss the whole time. Yeah, but same. This happened when I was in very early on high school. It was a big major event. You're right. All the lead up with the Michael Landsberg interviews that are still classics. You can still find them on YouTube here and there. Yeah. All that came out. It was just such a big hype because it was Toronto. And the event was stacked, and the fact that it was Hogan versus Rock. Yeah. And what we did for that one is my friends from high school, my older brothers, their friends from in high school as well, and then my oldest brother, all of his friends who are now on to college. We all got together at one of the friends' family owned a restaurant, and we all went there to watch this WrestleMania on a big screen in like the lounge area.
Right on.
So literally, like throughout the event, if there was something we didn't like going on, we went back and got more food because there was just like a buffet of like Indian stuff, and that's why I don't even remember Saliva at all.
Because you were going to get food. That's why.
Because I was getting food. Because I was like, oh, you guys stink. So we all went and got like plates of butter chicken, and then we came back and we watched. And it's one of those good early kind of high school memories that I have. One of the great ones. Just watching that WrestleMania and the reaction of all of our friends and seeing this together. And now watching it all these years later, I see all the stuff I missed. Yeah. And a lot of stuff that was nostalgic for me, and it was just great.
Yeah. So, Craig, was this the first time with the watch through with your friends and that stuff you got a chance to watch this, or had you watched this earlier?
This is where both of you are going to throw things at me.
Okay, go for it.
At least at the younger version of me. So this is 2002. That means I was 11.
Okay.
So I was in like 5th grade. I was in 5th grade. I hadn't really started watching wrestling yet. That wasn't until late 6th grade. This was I started watching wrestling like every week after seeing like highlights on TV and stuff after WrestleMania 19.
Okay, so after the one right after this.
Yes,
okay.
The one right after this.
Yeah.
So this is a year before I became a fan. Now, the old superintendent at my school division, right? My dad was a principal in there as well, but the superintendent, her sister is married to Ron McClain.
Crazy.
So when she even gave my dad as one of his retirement gifts, gave him tickets to go to a Leafs game. Once. Okay. She took my sister. So Ron had seats through CBC and like through all the connections and stuff he had with media, and he asked the superintendent if do you know anybody wrestling fans, because we have tickets to the WrestleMania giveaway. And she asked my dad about it. She's like, would you either of your boys would want to go? And my dad asked me about wrestling, and I hadn't watched wrestling yet. And I said no, because I was like, I don't know. I don't really care about wrestling. Right. And so I could have gone to this WrestleMania as an 11-year-old kid, but my stupid ass said no. I could have seen Stone Cold that stunner to Scott Hall in the match that we'll get to.
We'll talk about it.
And so I missed out hard on this one. I didn't watch this one, but I do remember when I started watching wrestling, and I ever wondered, I'm like, has there ever been a WrestleMania in Canada? And like literally 2 years ago, I was like, oh, it was in Toronto 2 years ago. And then I remembered my dad got asked, and I was like, I could have gone and seen this card. I could have seen Rock Hogan live down on the floor, not up to the railing, but like down on the, not in the stands, down on the floor, sitting in the bleacher seats
with tickets hooked up from you from the god of Hockey Night in Canada, Ron McLean. Like, come on.
At the Sky Dome.
That's
such
You know what?
save that for your book, Craig. When somebody writes a book on your life, you can just be like, yeah,
fool. What a fool.
That's awesome.
But you know what?
I think
I'm not
that's a
going to
better
throw
story
anything
than
at
actually
you.
going, to tell you the truth.
But I'm not going to throw anything at you for not going because, again, you were an 11-year-old kid who hadn't been exposed to wrestling yet. You didn't get it.
Yeah.
I'm going to throw something at you because you started watching wrestling, like you basically missed all of WWF.
Yeah.
You started watching when it was WWE.
Brock Lesnar was already the WWE champion.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Like you started it when it became E instead of F.
And so I got really into wrestling. And then I talked to friends who had been watching wrestling. And then they had all these DVDs. And like I had like 12 DVDs. I went back and watched all the Attitude Era stuff like 4 years after it happened.
Yeah.
And that's when I started loving Stone Cold. So when I was watching Stone Cold on TV, he came back and started doing the general manager stuff.
Yes.
But I do remember, but I do remember like my dad would flip through channels sometimes and we would see wrestling on. So like I wouldn't like, it's not like I had no exposure to wrestling before that, but I just wasn't an avid fan.
Yeah.
I wasn't, but like that's the thing. Like, yeah, 13-year-old Craig was kicking himself when he realized that I could have went to that for sure.
Love it. That's awesome.
I love the mindset of an 11-year-old kid of, no, I don't want a free trip to Toronto to watch live wrestling for a ticket I didn't pay for.
Exactly. What a cool. It is such a kid thing to do. Like 60-year-old Craig, even after I stopped watching wrestling,
would be like, oh my God, I'm going.
That's a WrestleMania. That's a big deal.
That's a big freaking deal. And I can go to it for free. Let's go. You know,
a current Craig would take that deal, whether you watch the product or not.
I booked flights.
A free trip.
Yeah. Crazy.
And back then you didn't even have to.
WWE book a major event again in Toronto, and Ron McLean, if you got tickets, hook us up. Come on, help us out.
Exactly.
There we go. So that, like I said, I think that story is better than you actually going because the ending is so unexpected.
Oh, yeah, that is pretty funny.
It's pretty cool. So, but yeah, all right. So now this is the logo for the event. So we're going to get right into it here, man. Yeah, even that opening performance, I would have loved to see them cut in between the live performance and the awesome montage video going on behind the scenes, because it looked like they spent a lot of time on that montage video, but yet it's just playing in the background, and all we're doing is just watching Josie Scott of he and Chad Kroger singing Hero fame, sing a stupid song of Superstar, right? So
I also completely forgot that Josie Scott was the lead singer of Saliva for so long. Now I'll say this about Superstar, that like this is the thing about Saliva music. I don't listen to Saliva because I'm like, man, I resonate with these lyrics. But if I'm in the gym and I'm doing flies and I just need something else to get me going, Superstar by Saliva, just getting jacked, looking in the mirror, like that's the vibe you need.
Doing your best Triple H impression, just
Dude, after I do chest day, I'm totally doing Triple H pose in the mirror. Totally up like this, doing the spit.
That's nightmare inducing. That's the man that big
to it. Please not spit the water in the air. We have to clean the mirror every time you do it.
You get the long hair going like Triple H. Triple H
out
for my hair.
Yeah, it's unreal. Yeah,
and because I hate rock music, this is painful. However, again, I don't remember this performance. I don't remember this happening. I was eating butter chicken at a restaurant. I know the song because of the movie Pool Hall Junkies.
Yes.
That's the only reference I have to that song. That's the only connection.
Superstar.
Yeah. So that was my only connection to it. I'm like, oh, they did that song. Okay, well, it sucks live.
They also do the song Click, Click, Boom.
Boom. Yeah. Do they also do the Here Comes the Boom?
No, that was POD.
POD.
Yes.
Oh wow!
So
guys really know
you're
their shit.
speaking to a new metal aficionado here. I've basically lived off of new metal in high school, so everything from Korn to Limp Bizkit to this end, which is Drowning Pool and Saliva, I listened to. So like this was listening to this is just like, yeah, this takes me back to high school. It was what I listened to, is what my circle listened to. So
it's funny. I consider all of that. I call it wrestling music because that's the only time I ever heard that stuff.
There was a joke going around. Yep. There was a joke going around for the longest time during this period of time that WWE used 4 bands for music. And it was, for a while, 4 bands for their music outside of Jim Johnson for the themes. Saliva, Drowning Pool, Motorhead, and Kid Rock.
Oh, fuck.
Creed.
Oh, and Creed. So 5, yes.
Creed.
Yeah. Yeah,
oh, man.
We will, by the way, get to this later on in the review. We will get to this later on in the review as well, which has some.
It shows up,
but yeah. So there we go.
It shows up on the very first match. Can we get to it?
Mm-hmm. Yep. So we will get. We'll get to that. Epic opening montage. I thought the opening montage kicked ass. That whole, the lead into the WrestleMania, and then some great signs I seen off of the pyro. And for doing the soups, the cameras, and that stuff. I came from Kamloops to see The Rock, very Canadian. The giant people with AEH and an exclamation mark spray painted on their chest and that stuff in the background. I laughed. And then Costco 547 is fake. And you do a Google for Costco 547, and it's the Costco location in Vaughan Woodbridge. So somebody was not happy with their management. I decided to put, my work is fake.
I also know something. This is because it's in Canada, one of the few WrestleManias that does not have a national anthem at the beginning. No one sings America the Beautiful because they're not in America.
Would you want Saliva to give you a rendition of America the Beautiful?
That's true. We got Saliva instead, and that's freaking weird.
Yeah.
Well, hold on.
You gotta sell this. That's
why. The Beautiful. From sea to shining sea.
Well, hold on a second.
Oh, don't forget, we're 5 years removed from that at this point already. So.
Here to sing the American national anthem, type O negative. Oh, see, can you see? Boom, boom, boom.
All right.
Little doom metal bass.
Yeah, just super goth looking people in the front row just kind of
patriotism.
In the WrestleMania, was it 5 or 6 that was also in Skydome? Hogan Warrior.
6. Well, Hogan Warrior
didn't
was
like
in
Michael or Robert
1990.
Goulet?
Yes.
Didn't Michael or Robert Goulet? Yeah, they did the Canadian national anthem to begin.
He did.
Yeah, so they just forego the anthem on this one. Interesting.
They do. Yeah.
For Saliva.
For Saliva.
Yes.
I'm about it.
All right, time for our opening contest. By the way, there is a Sunday Night Heat match. Just prior to this, it's only 3 minutes and 8 seconds, and it's Scotty 2 Hottie Rikishi and somebody else, I can't remember who, beating Lance Storm, Test, and Mr. Perfect in a 6-man tag. So
weird.
That's what that was, so whatever. But anyway, that's on the Sunday Night Heat before. This is the opening contest of the pay-per-view. It is for the WWF Intercontinental Championship. We've got the challenger, Rob Van Dam, taking on the champion, William Regal. And yes, we get to hear Rob's new entrance music at the time that is on the Forcible Entry CD by a band called Breaking Point. And the song is called One of a Kind. You've heard it if you're a wrestling fan. Definitely.
Love it.
I got early in this match, William Regal goes into his trunks to find his brass knuckles.
Mm-hmm.
I knew exactly that's what he was doing. But again, my wife and her friend were like, what's he doing? Like, why is he going into his pants? Why is he touching himself? I was like, no, he's getting brass knuckles. And I'm realizing I'm the one sitting there like trying to, no, he's getting brass knuckles, you guys.
We We should have rigged up a couple of cameras, and you guys could have done a watch along with the camera.
It was wild. Well, and then like Kayla started, but the reason we went over in the first place is because Bailey was helping Kayla dye her hair. So like she's getting her hair dyed in the background, and I'm watching wrestling, eating pizza.
I love it. Just duding it up. That's great.
Sounds like an awesome night.
Found some stills for the pay-per-view too. So this is awesome. Just RVD and RVD with a kick on William Regal.
As far as this match goes, this was a great match. This is a good opener.
Yeah, it was
two great workers and
Frog I think this is one of the most underrated Mania openers I think we've seen. It's a very solid match. The runtime I think is about 6 minutes or 8 minutes or something like that. Let me just dial that up because I forgot I should have that window open, and I will do that right now.
Because I think they had some very back and forth. You know, Regal had some pretty good heel spots. I mean, this was pretty like this is you can't. I mean, if you want to watch, if you want to like, I don't know, maybe if you're like an up and coming wrestler and you want to watch just like what good working is, like this would be a good match to throw up there for them to watch.
Yeah, 6:22 is the runtime for this, but it's a very quick, very fast paced, great match. The crowd is hardcore into it. I think they're just happy to see some wrestling after the rock music, and they're really behind Rob Van Dam at this point, and why not? They should be. So.
Yeah.
Okay. And I guess my take on this one is, the crowd is into it, but they're really just kind of waiting for RVD to hit all of his greatest hits.
Yes.
That's all they're kind of going for. It's like Rolling Thunder, yay! Van Terminator, yay! Corner Monkey Flip, yay! That spinny reversey king, catch my leg and I'll kick you with the Enziguri kick, yay! Yeah. Like they were just popping for the RVD moves and just waiting for it. So in that sense, that's kind of a spot fest in a way.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. That's not the best security on this card, though. We'll get to that.
Yeah.
Not the most. What's that?
There's a better insecurity in a later match that I did not see coming.
Okay, we'll get to that.
Okay, there we go.
Finish your point.
Get your shit out of the way. No, in terms of like what people like, what up and coming wrestlers can take away from this, watch Regal this whole match. The way that he is hiding from the referee, but in plain sight, he is demonstrating like how to like take the brass knuckles out and be sneaky and be a heel in front of 70,000 people, yet the referee can't see what he's doing. Like it's perfect artistry of how to hide the brass knucks, how to play to that gimmick, and just how to do that perfectly, and how to what they used to call like you play for the top row, meaning the actions you do in the ring. You do it so the very top row of that arena can see you.
Right.
Like that's how hard you have to emote for this kind of stuff. And that's how clear your actions should be to get to register it to every member of the crowd. And Regal does it to a T. These are two seasoned professionals having an opening match to just get the crowd just started, just to get them used to seeing a bit of more wrestling. I would have liked this gone a little bit longer, but it is what it is. And a pretty decent opener.
I should also mention off the back end of this is that this basically marks the 1 year anniversary of WWF buying WCW. We really don't see the full effect of WWF bringing in the top echelon WCW guys until basically the start of the season to the lead up to this. This is the catalyst of what we'll see WWF do with the top tier WCW superstars. If you get what I'm saying. About?
Because like the NWO, and then eventually I think Goldberg comes in next year.
Yeah, Goldberg comes in 03. Yeah, and Flair is on this card. The NWO is on this card.
Yeah, you've got Flair, Hogan, Booker, DDP.
Yeah.
The only guy you're really missing is Sting. I mean, who did they miss?
Yeah, that's the only guy that's out is Sting right now at this point.
And he never came into the company during this run. So
no.
Who did they miss? Steiner and Goldberg, and they both sucked.
They're not out of who they could bring in. I'm not saying they're missing anybody. I'm saying this is really the start of them bringing in the real upper echelon talent, because they had the invasion. The invasion went by the wayside because they couldn't get the upper echelon talent on terms to come in, and now everybody's coming in.
They couldn't get NWO.
But I'm just correcting you and saying.
I was just saying, like, I don't think they brought in the NWO. Like, they didn't have the NWO in the invasion angle.
No, they didn't.
Right, correct. No. But you're saying this is the start of them bringing in upper echelon talent. I'm saying this is the pinnacle of it, not the start.
No, to me, this is the start. No, well,
how? You've got Nash, Hall, Hogan, Rick, Flair, Booker T, DDP.
Yep.
Like, that's the upper echelon. The guys that came after are the tail end.
That's their upper echelon guys, and this is the first real pay-per-view that they have had all of them on it.
Yeah,
they've been missing guys here and there, you know.
So they didn't have like, because when they did the invasion, it was like Booker T, DDP did the weird stalker angle thing.
Mm-hmm.
Lance Storm,
Jericho.
No, Jericho was already part of the company.
They utilized Jericho, but he was part of WWF, so whatever. Same with Austin.
But he came from. I meant like Jericho came from WCW. He was because I think when Jericho came and did the Rise Jericho promo against The Rock, that was like WCW was already kind of going out at that point, I think.
Yeah, well, it was 99. It was August of 99.
That was 99 though. That's the Y2J problem.
Yeah.
So that's like 3 years prior to this.
But wasn't Jericho he was like an up and coming mid carder at that point, and he became more of a main eventer with WWE.
Right.
Yeah, when he made the jump. Yeah.
I think we're on two different sides of the same mountain here.
Yeah, but you're saying this is the start of them bringing upper WCW echelon. Like, this is the pinnacle. Everybody in WCW they brought afterwards jabrones.
Well, because I'm looking at this by saying, you look at this card, and this is where all the this is the first pay-per-view they've had with all the upper echelon WCW guys in attendance on that card in something.
But it's also the last, because a few of the guys don't make it much further.
That's also a good point, because DDP's out of here as soon as this pay-per-view is done, basically.
Scott Hall doesn't last much longer.
Yeah,
Kevin Nash pulls a hamstring or whatever.
Yeah. So,
and then you bring in friggin' Scott Steiner, who sucks, Goldberg, who didn't care anymore and just wanted some money. Mm-hmm. The only good WCW guy they brought in post this was Rey Mysterio Jr.
Yeah,
that's it.
Yeah, I would argue for Goldberg's sake. Like, obviously Goldberg was very limited.
Of course he would.
But hey, I'm just saying, you can't argue though, is that Goldberg was over as fuck. Like, even when he came in that 03 with The Rock, and like the whole arena is going Goldberg. Everybody knows Goldberg is kind of overrated, but I mean, his music hits, the whole fucking arena is like knowing that somebody's gonna get killed. Yeah, because here comes Goldberg, and he's gonna spear the guy and go
Yeah, exactly. There we go. Yeah, exactly.
But once the smoke is cleared, once it is all done, the music is hit. You've done all your What is left for Goldberg? And the answer is nothing. He has nothing left. That's the show. No, it's the 5 minutes he gives you.
Hey, so, Rock, you want to know who's next, eh? You're next.
And see, CTL, this is why I was saying that we should, open up the boundaries of this, the retro, not have it end at the brand split and the renaming from WWF to WWE, that we should encompass the early, the early WWE years as well by saying, moving our limit up to, 10 years or prior for these pay-per-views, because there's still some good shit coming in like 2002, 2003, 2004, in the WWE years. So
Besides the controversial main event, WrestleMania 20 was fantastic.
Yeah. There's that. And then, of course, like Backlash 04. Come on. I mean,
that's what I was at. I went to Backlash.
Yes. So I was there too. We'll talk about that later.
Let's get to match 2 half an hour in.
well, talking quickly about the finish here, Regal grabs his nuts from outside the ring. The ref stops him from using them. And RVD hits the 5-star on William Regal for the 1-2-3. We have a new Intercontinental Champion. That's Rob Van Dam. Now we move to the next thing. Lillian Garcia interviews Christian backstage, asks why he turned on DDP. even back then, one of the best heels in the business with this promo. Yeah, it's kind of imaginative because he's got the crowd cheering him because he's from Toronto. And then he starts berating Toronto, and immediately the crowd just turns on him. So
that's how like if I was a Canadian wrestler and I come back to Edmonton and I was a heel, and like I mean I'm in my hometown, people might be like, "Hey, CraigPFraser, he's in WWE, he's our guy."
Yeah.
That's the first thing I'm gonna do. Be like, "I can't wait! I'm so glad that I'm out of this dog shit town, and now I'm living in Florida." And like that's exactly how I'm gonna get them to boo me. It's just call Edmonton crap.
I don't live here anymore. I live in the Baja. You know,
I live in a place called Devil's Beach. I have 75 wild dogs on my property and a silo full of tortillas.
Our next
How many gallons
contest.
of potable water?
Silos full of tortillas and potable water.
Our next contest is the European Championship match. It's DDP, the European champion, taking on Christian, who's the European Championship challenger. These guys were tag team partners up until a week leading up to this. And the reason why they split is because they had a tag title shot and lost to Billy and Chuck on Raw. And they all of a sudden started infighting. And boom, it's for the European title. All of a sudden, this contest occurs. It is a runtime of 6 minutes and 10 seconds. Yay for the operatic entrance music for Christian. That's probably up there as his best theme music. I know the stuff he uses now in AEW is good, but I like the operatic theme a little bit better. So,
Can somebody also answer to me, because we were very confused watching this. Like I know my wife and Kayla were very confused about why Christian all of a sudden in his promos hits the stupid like smile face. Was that like a thing?
He was positive thinking.
Yeah, that's DDP's positive thinking. He said it's not a bad thing; it's a good thing.
So prior to DDP Yoga, DDP released a self-help book in 2001.
Okay.
And it's DDP's Power of Positive Thinking.
Excellent.
Yeah.
And the whole angle was DDP helping Christian out because Christian was on a massive losing streak in the first part of 2002, and DDP started tagging with him. They started winning some matches, got the number one contendership for the tag titles, like I said, and it was all positive thinking. They gave Christian the book, and Christian read the book, and so that's where the smile was from. He's the power of positive thinking.
Yes.
There we go. Makes sense now.
Now
As for this match, I thought it was pretty good. It kind of went down a little peg for me, like from the first match. I was just like, okay, good for Christian to go out there. He took the L. I don't know. I thought it was it was like if I had to cut a match off the card, this would be one of the ones I might cut. I think I don't know. No, you wouldn't get rid of this one.
You don't really have much to give, though. That's the problem. Is what you're going to do. You're going to swap it with that 6-man from Heat. I wouldn't do that. I think this match is okay where it is. I think the length is good. It gets DDP on a WrestleMania. This is DDP's first and last in-ring appearance at a WrestleMania in a contest.
They mentioned that in the commentary.
So, yep.
They mentioned that in the commentary. They said in-ring for a very specific reason. He was driving the Cadillac in WrestleMania
6.
There you go.
For Rhythm and Blues.
That's right.
Name me who was in Rhythm and Blues.
It's the Honky Tonk Man, and I don't remember the other person.
Oh, Greg the Hammer Valentine, of all people.
That's why I forgot.
Yes. They dyed the Hammer's hair black, so he looked like Johnny Cash. It's
so
weird.
dumb.
It's a different tag team. It really is.
But two legends being driven to the ring in a Cadillac, and the driver is DDP. How crazy is that?
That was DDP's Cadillac. He owned a car.
Yes, that's right.
So, yeah,
that's his car.
So the legend has it is Titan Sports at the time paid all the shipping. They shipped the car up north, got it across the border, and they needed a driver. And DDP was brought in to basically crew on the car to make sure it ran. And DDP's like, well, I got a chauffeur's outfit with this too. I'll drive. They're like, sure, And so
nice.
That's how he got on.
Hey, just like CM Punk hanging off of the Mafia car for Triple H's entrance in Chicago, and then years later, he's wrestling the Undertaker at WrestleMania.
John Cena's entrance,
So-
I think, was it not? It wasn't Triple H, it was John
Nope.
Cena.
Oh, sorry, you're right. It was John Cena's crappy
Yeah.
Mafia entrance where they have a
Yeah.
old Dick Tracy car go to the ring, and CM
Yeah.
Punk is hanging off the side holding a Tommy gun.
Yep.
It's just kind of the same thing, and DDP did that years before. That's crazy.
Yes.
Like Charlotte Flair and Alexa Bliss were both like, like
harem
Raw.
girls for Triple H.
Charlotte Flair. Charlotte Flair.
I was at that WrestleMania when they did that in 2014. I had floor tickets for that one in New Orleans. Yeah.
The wife, you look sexy in that mask.
You
can't tell me otherwise.
Just saying. We were trying to
You
figure
can't
out
tell me
who the
otherwise.
shorter blonde was, and it was like, that's where we discovered Alexa Bliss. It's like, God damn. Anyway.
oh, Sasha Banks was also one of them.
Yes, it's
Yeah.
Sasha Banks,
Well,
Alexa
Sasha
Bliss, and
and
Charlotte
Charlotte.
Flair.
Oh, interesting.
They're harem girls for Triple H because he was doing the whole
Conan.
Conan the Destroyer thing or Conan the Conqueror thing at the time.
Okay,
Yeah,
Steph,
this is
here's
all
what I'm
cool.
thinking. I'm gonna have 3 hot chicks with me. So
Yeah. Basically,
Next year on your motorcycle, and there's nothing you can do about it.
yeah. 2 years later, yeah.
I'm going to pop my comments in here for this match.
Okay, do it.
So,
Do it.
looking back at this, DDP was surprisingly good because of the limitations with his age and his back. Christian protected him pretty well. DDP still did some hellacious stuff, including taking a dive off the apron to the barricade.
Yes.
DDP he finally got his own in-ring WrestleMania moment. It wasn't as big as maybe he'd hoped, but I mean, at least he got one.
Mhm.
And it was a well-worked match. Again, 2 seasoned veterans, back-to-back matches, working a good match.
Yes.
Christian, looking back at this now and taking into account his entire catalog of his career, he should go down as one of the all-time greats.
Mhm.
I mean, he is the ultimate heel. He knew how to get over as a heel, how to get his heat, now to not get X-Pac heat, how people get interested. Everything he did was specifically catered and geared to make you boo him, including his attire and that stupid see-through vest that he had on. Like, everything was thought out of how do I get the reaction I'm supposed to get. And he did it. And he was committed. No matter what stupid gimmick they gave him, including throwing a tantrum when he lost this match, he committed
Hilarious.
to it.
Yes.
It wasn't half-hearted. He went all in, and he always does. Christian is like the ultimate full-effort performer. And this is an early notice. Put people on notice. He will be one of the all-time greats. And now, with everything you considered, he is.
Yeah. Like, look what he's doing currently now. I mean, it's
Exactly.
yeah,
Your
he's
dad is
the evil
dead.
dad.
Your father is dead. Dead. All the Botchamania clips of that. Father's dead. 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 Your father is dead. Dead.
So fuck yourself, Adam.
Yeah.
So fuck yourself.
Gotcha.
It's good stuff, man. I
All
like
right.
this match. If you're gonna cut anything, it's this one we're about to talk about.
Well, you know what? We'll
No.
get that quickly. We'll talk quickly about the finish of this one. Diamond Cutter out of nowhere. 1, 2, 3. DDP is still your European champion. Post-match, DDP says Christian didn't lose his temper in front of 67,000 people, and that's not a bad thing. That's a good thing. Then Christian loses his temper, so there we go.
Yeah.
The Rock and the Coach backstage. Classic stuff. What
Good
a
stuff.
promo. I forgot that this promo was on this show.
Me too.
The what up, G?
I remember the words of his prayer. Get on your knees, coach. Get on your knees and pray to God. What up, G?
What up,
It's
G?
me, the coach. Who in the blue hell are you talking to? Is that how you address him? What up, G? Kicks him right over. Get him,
Yep.
monkey ass off the Rock's picture.
I still like the making the Coach Carlton and then kicking him promo.
Yeah.
A little bit more, but yeah, this was a classic Rock. I mean, he hit him with the finally the Rock has come back to Toronto.
Hey,
that?
question. How did your friends react to seeing Dwayne Johnson young and with hair and being a wrestler?
That's another thing. So I said this has got Young Rock in it. They were both like, they're like, it's so weird seeing him like this because they had no idea of like when the coach starts talking and then he just puts the hand up.
Yeah.
Coach, I need you to shut your mouth and know your role. You know, like he doesn't like they hadn't really seen any of those catchphrases. And like I said, oh yeah, the big one's the last one coming. And then when he goes, yes, you know, and then like they're like, what's that? Like, what does he mean if you smell what the Rock is cooking? I'm like, well, it's like, do you know what he's getting? Like, it's like kind of like, do you get what he's doing? You know, if you,
are you picking up what he's putting down?
Picking up what he's putting down. Like, are you with them? Kind of a deal.
It's the Ernest P. Worrell, you know what I mean, Vern.
Yeah, you know what I mean. You know, and so it's like that's what the Rock's cooking. They're also like they were also very confused. They're like, why does he have a bull on his shorts? And I was like, well, he's the Brahma Bull.
Yeah,
it's his nickname.
Yeah.
And like,
well, you go into any sport check now, and you see his
I was like, you know, the
Project Rock stuff has the Brahma Bull on it.
They're like, oh, I didn't know. I thought there was just like because he's strong as a bull, and I'm like, yeah, but I was like, his nickname's the Brahma Bull.
The Brahma Bull.
1 Brahma Bull, 2 Brahma Bull, 3 Brahma Bulls, and then Kane's like, I won, Black Party. And then the doors open, and the Great One is standing there, and the piss runs down your leg.
The sweat runs down your brow. The piss rolls down your shirt. Sorry, did your friends like seeing The Rock being The Rock instead of being nice old Dwayne?
And when we were having pizza, and my buddy's mom came over briefly to say hi, and then she was dyeing her hair. They were both like, "Make sure you let us know when the Rock's match is coming. We want to watch the Rock."
Oh, okay.
So they were very excited to see the Rock. They were just like, "Well, they know him. He's Mr. Superstar now." So they're like, "Yeah, we want to see his match." I was like, "Yeah." I said he's fighting Hulk Hogan in this match. It was like the once in a lifetime icon versus icon. I was like, that was should have been the main event. We'll get to that, but you know, I was like, yeah, they were really excited to see his match. It was cool for them. They were like, oh yeah, Rock was a wrestler, so it was nice for them to see that.
That's so cool to see people react to The Rock for the first time. That's pretty cool.
That's sweet. Yeah, that is really cool. Yeah, definitely. That's awesome.
But first, Maven.
Yes. Sorry, guys. We got to go through the slop here first. So our next contest is for the WWF Hardcore Championship. It is Maven, the Hardcore Champion, taking on Goldust. This match means so less on the card that I couldn't even find a high-resolution graphic of it. It's something from somebody's VHS from back in the day, so there we go. The runtime for this thing of the match is only like 3 minutes. It's 3 minutes and 17 seconds. Maven versus Goldust ended when Spike Dudley pinned Maven.
This was so fucking weird. Like, I was looking. I love how first of all, when Goldust starts coming down to the ring, and like again, you're asking what their first reaction was to The Rock when they first saw Goldust come on. I was like, when his music started, I was like, oh fuck, here comes Goldust. You guys are gonna get ready for this. And like when he starts walking down, my wife is like, why does he look like Lady Gaga? Like,
no. I'd be like, Lady Gaga stole her look from him.
From Goldust.
Yeah.
And but it's so funny because like my wife never watch wrestling, and so I was like, this is a hardcore match.
Yeah.
And so he gets onto the ring and he starts pulling out the gold trash can. She's like, he has gold trash cans. Oh my god, he has a golden shovel. That's so funny. Like, he just was loving the gold props.
Yes.
So this match though, like when Dudley, like, it was so weird when Dudley just comes in. I was like, what? And I guess it's maybe just me not realizing because like this was like kind of like the hokey hardcore scene in WWE at the time.
24/7 hardcore scene.
Yeah, this is not ECW.
No.
And like I could totally see like the Dudley boys not wanting to do a match like this because it's just not a hardcore match.
They were doing proper hardcore in the tag division, so no need to do this.
Right.
It starts kind of cooking. You're like, all right, here comes there's some. I love the Maven Goldust double trash can lid shot.
Yes,
that was funny. I like that. That was like, oh, cool. And they actually got some pretty good, nice crack in. But then Spike comes in and pins him, and I'm like,
yeah,
he's not in the match.
No.
What the fuck? Can he do that?
No.
So weird.
The 24/7 hardcore rule at that time basically meant that if you had a referee. That could a WWE official that could count a pinfall, or WWF official that could count a pinfall back then, you know, you could get a decision whether a pinfall or submission for the Hardcore Championship.
So as the uninitiated, this is basically the 24/7 championship.
Yes.
Going to harken back to the hardcore belt.
Yeah. If you're a newer fan, it's a carbon copy of the 24/7 championship, or the 24/7 championship was a carbon copy of this. Yes.
You see, I would want to see at this time. I probably would want to see something like Mick Foley versus. They obviously did do cross brand matches at this time, WWF, but like, what's his name from Japan? Is it Minoru Suzuki?
Yeah.
Like Minoru Suzuki versus Cactus Jack. Like that's a hardcore match. Or Sandman versus Raven. I don't know.
We're getting two actual hardcore wrestlers to wrestle in the hardcore. Yeah, exactly. So
yeah, not friggin' Lady Gaga versus Drake.
So funny. Lady Gaga versus Drake.
Maven, the Tough Enough Season 1 winner.
That's
so
right.
This was awful.
To make a quick mention of Tough Enough, that was their reality show on MTV, and he was the first winner of it. So
yes. Good. This was awful. This was fucking rotten.
Ironically, it's not the winners of Tough Enough that grab a lot of headlines, although they have done some stupid things in the past. It's the guys and girls who get runner-up that end up having the long careers. John Morrison, Johnny TV, Johnny Nitro, John whatever, John Hennigan has had a long wrestling career since that. So there we go. Josh Matthews, who does play-by-play over in Impact and a few other promotions and stuff. The Miz is a Tough Enough runner-up and is still employed by WWE. So
Daniel Puder.
No, Daniel Puder is the example of the first thing I talked about. Winner's not doing much.
Yes, Winner's not doing much, whether it was Tough Enough or the original NXT Caval.
Caval, yes.
Yikes. It's not fucking rotten. I understand them putting Drake here, the very green wrestler with a very seasoned veteran in Dustin Rhodes.
Yes.
Goldust. But what is the fucking point of booking a hardcore match if all you have to do is bring a referee to the ring? Why are you even booking matches if that's all you need to do?
I don't know.
It was dumb. It was stupid.
It's stupid.
And if you're doing this just to get big pops and big reactions, why wouldn't you have do it when fucking Saliva finished their song, have a hardcore match, take a guitar, break it over somebody's head, and then count a pin? That would have got a pop for them. And
I don't
never have to hear it again.
I don't think WWF could afford a broken guitar from Saliva or Drowning Pool's rider. That's why.
But it would have saved all of our ears.
Yeah. No, it wouldn't, because it would have already knocked off the performance, like right after this. So
Crash Holly have to do again.
Crash Holly chases Spike Dudley out of the arena. Maven chases in tow. The other two chase them down the aisle, and then we go back to the stage where Drowning Pool performs Tearaway, the theme song from WrestleMania 8. And yes, this is all over the DVD menu and all over the stuff. By the way, I forgot to mention, this was the source that we watched the pay-per-view off of. At least you watched off of the Google Drive, right, Mr. TL?
No, for network.
Oh, you watched network. Okay. So you got the musical performances on the network for this.
I did. Absolutely.
Oh my. Okay. So they didn't edit those out. Oh my God. Okay.
No,
but Craig and I, we watched this, which was the Icon versus Icon WrestleMania X8 DVD. And so Tearaway by Drowning Pool is the menu music for this. And there's a whole bunch of bonus features on this too and everything that we'll talk about a little bit later on if we have time to get to it. But
I fast forward through that. So I was like, I'm not into Drowning Pool right now.
Yeah.
I'll say this, Drowning Pool compared to Saliva. Drowning Pool's lead singer obviously had some issues with drugs. That he obviously lost his life.
He passed away on August 14th of that year in 2002. Yes. The lead singer Dave Williams. Yeah.
But they were really an up and coming band. Them and American Head Charge were looking to make some big waves. They were actually also in 2002 for my little know-how. This was also my favorite band, Slipknot. They had already done Iowa. They released it in 2001, and their Disaster Pieces tour was 2002. This was right at the before their Disaster Pieces tour.
Right.
Drowning Pool, I believe, was supposed to be
an opener
tour with them on this, and because their singer died, they were taken away. And American Head Charge also had Brian Otteson, one of their guitar players, die Oh no, that might have been a few years later. The next
that was a few years later. Yeah, but the drowning pool thing actually screwed up a concert date here because my cousin and I had tickets to go see Slipknot with Drowning Pool as one of the openers at the Coliseum. Or Skyridge Center or whatever it was called back then.
Amazing show that would have been.
And they canceled it right out. I don't think they ever rescheduled that. I think they skipped the next year.
Yeah, because Slipknot didn't come back until 2005.
Till 2005, yeah.
The Shaw.
Yeah.
But that was going to be a huge tour.
Mm-hmm.
That was really derailed it. And like Bodies, that is such a great. I think everybody likes Bodies. Everybody let the bodies hit the floor.
Again. WWE music, because that would be the theme song for ECW in a few years' time.
That's
in 2005.
Yes, years later they use it for their show and for many pay-per-views.
Mm-hmm. So there we go.
Next match, come on.
Well, backstage, the hardcore fight continues. Al Snow attempts vehicular homicide with Denny Long, and the Hurricane swoops in to pin Crash, and now the Hurricane is hardcore champion.
I was laughing so hard when Al Snow just randomly starts shredding onto the screen and he has that face, and he just crashes into the. I was crying. It was so funny. I was the only one watching at this point. People were in the kitchen, but I was like, you guys are missing some great stuff. Like it's just silly. Does it need to be on the show? At that
point, it's dumb. Yes.
Yeah. Al Snow stands up. He's like, damn it.
We get the don't try this at home PSA. Yes. Sadly, no Rey Mysterio yet, Mr. TL, because he debuts in June of that year.
Surgery 5 times in my left knee.
Well, it'd be more now because that's the knee that Santos Escobar attacked prior to Survivor 2.
I've had surgery 10 times in my left
knee.
Now,
yes, left knee.
I used to be a wrestler like you, and then I had surgeries in my knee.
A Skyrim reference.
Rey Mysterio in Skyrim.
Oh man.
I wanted you to do a voiceover thing for a second, but I think that'll suffice. That'll do. That's a good crossover. I didn't see coming, and it works.
We'll circle back to that at the end of the show. Remind me, but
yes, because I know you want to hear it too.
Yes. Kurt Angle versus Kane. Up next, finally, a kind of this would be a Monday Night Raw main event at the time because both these guys were upper mid card, if not main eventers. So there we go.
My favorite version of Kane.
Yes, the match runs 10 minutes and 45 seconds with Kurt Angle defeating Kane with the dirty pin for the 1-2-3. Back and forth match, great. Just a really solid, good pay-per-view paced match between two guys that they would definitely be in the main event scene going forward over the next year or two. So these guys didn't lose any momentum from the match. If anything, they gained it. So it was good.
And one of them did, one of them didn't.
This match has the best enziguri on the card.
Okay.
Kane hits Kurt Angle with stand-up enziguri, and it's amazing. I was like, that's a 320-pound man.
7-foot tall dude hitting an enziguri. Hello.
Kurt Angle in the head.
Did you hear the crowd off that, too? The whole crowd was, whoa!
That must be like being hit with an entire log.
Yes.
Well, probably, yeah.
Yeah.
And like a lot of wrestlers say, like some of the strongest wrestlers they've ever played, like Goldberg, John Cena are up there for like strongest ever. Obviously, Mark Henry and Show, but they're like Kane is usually near the top of everybody's list in terms of strong guys. He's just a solid man, and even if you are taking that off like the side of the head or however they pull the shot when they're kicking, like Kurt's still taking that thing right off the beam. Like
it would be like a real life equivalent of the Ewoks cutting the logs in Return of the Jedi, and doing the pimple squeeze on the chicken walker as it walks by,
And AT-AT? Yeah.
Boom.
Yeah. Big
exactly.
shot.
Yeah.
Nothing left. I kind of thought I was really hoping for a big Kane chokeslam win, but I guess Angle with the dirty pin. This was heel Angle. I believe this led into the feud with Edge.
Yes. Yeah.
And
this would lead to the hair versus hair thing with Edge later on.
Right.
Where Kurt gets shaved bald. So this is one of the last times we see Kurt Angle on a pay-per-view with hair.
Well, there you go.
For those who care.
For me, this match it's a good it's a lot of the few beginning matches were just a lot of strikes, and the last match was a lot of nonsense. This one was like a good wrestling match, a lot of good throws, grapples, and stuff like that. My problem with this match was Kane was not Kane in this match. Like, he didn't do the Kane sit-up when he was out for a few seconds.
He was too babyface at this time. He was kind of a tired babyface too, a little bit. Yeah.
Yeah, he wasn't a monster. He wasn't Kane in this match. He was just 7-foot red man that Angle was like blabbing everywhere.
Yes.
I was like, it's a good match, but Kane is supposed to be a monster. This is why he's supposed to be a heel. And especially to me, I don't think the crowd got behind Kane as a face in this match. They just kind of whenever he would do something, they do a little bit of a pop and then it just dies off immediately. They're not backing him as a good guy. He's not meant to be a good guy. He's meant to be a monster. I guess even if he is a face, he's still supposed to be a monster as a face. This he just was another guy.
I will say I agree. I think maybe those are some good points, because I do think that even in both of their careers, the Undertaker did a whole persona change to be more of a regular dude, right? But when he's the dead man, he's uncompromisingly the dead man. He's even when he's a face, he's still throwing mankind off a fucking cage. He's still, because he was arguably a face. They were both kind of arguably heel faces. In that match. They were both just dark characters, but Taker was over, I guess I would say. He's over the Undertaker at the point. And I think with Kane, you do kind of have he comes in as that's gotta be Kane, and he rips the cage off the thing. And everybody's like, holy shit, that's Frankenstein's monsters.
It is. Yeah.
And the whole feud with the Undertaker, and I think Taker wins the blow off, but the Inferno matches and then even the first run with the belt, it was very short lived, but because Stone Cold was having his rise. But Kane kind of got the whole the Brothers of Destruction angle, great, because Kane's with Taker and both of them are these monsters. Yes. But Kane kind of also got the whole you're going to be with X-Pac, and we're potentially had Green Kane, and this kind of those matches kind of trivialized Kane a little bit. But it's I think because it doesn't seem to do any justice with the whole. The fire, and he comes walking out, and then he's like, "Oh, I got 3-time German suplex like Kurt Angle," and then he's in the ankle lock for 5 minutes. He's like, "Oh," and he's yelling through the mask. And it's just I don't know. I was like, "Oh man, where's the big sidewalk slam? I wanted him to hit the close. Bro, where's the choke slam? I want Kurt to at one point try to get out of the ring because he's I got to get away from this monster."
Yeah.
They could have done more with this.
No, I hear you. Yeah.
So, it's a funny comparison, and you might get the humor in this. To me, this is Kane is Bane in Batman the movie.
Yeah.
But somehow along the way, he becomes Bane from the cartoon with Harley Quinn.
Oh.
I would say this. Kane's supposed to be Bane from the Dark Knight.
Yes, he's supposed to be Bane from the Dark Knight, but as they humanize him, he becoms Bane from the cartoon Harley Quinn.
I would argue Bane from Batman and Robin, where he doesn't do anything. Bomb! He's explaining the bombs everywhere. Bomb! And Poison Ivy's step on it, Bane. He's just the dumbest shit. I'm Kane's not
the dumbest shit is this cartoon when they have Bane, and they have him kind of doing the movie voice, but he's way more cartoony and stupid in the Harley Quinn one. Where there's an aquarium and they poke it open and the fish go everywhere and Aquaman is crying. It's look, I'm stepping on your fish, Aquaman. Stepping on your fish. What the hell is this?
Yeah, I hear you. You're making Michael Myers look like a goofball.
Yeah, you are at this point.
Exactly.
Anyways, backstage, the hardcore title shenanigans continue. Hurricanes in the Godfather's dressing room. There's women in various stages of undress, and
they're hoes. They're not women.
They are escort workers. It's 2023.
They're hoes.
The ham-handed Hurricane has the broom handle looking like a dick. It's so just. This didn't
very. They were trying to do some Austin Powers shtick there, or something like that. Because don't forget, Austin Powers was out in theaters and hot at that time and that stuff. So
Spy Who Shagged Me, I think.
Yeah, well, Gold Member comes out later in 2002, so
It's Gold
that
Member.
summer. Yeah, Gold
Wait,
Member.
hey
Yeah.
Craig, do you remember the scene in Robin Hood Men in Tights where they're doing that and Robin is singing to Maid Marian and the sword in the shadow, the silhouette?
Swing,
Yeah.
showing.
Can you do that last note?
I don't know if I can actually.
All right, never mind. Don't strain yourself. Don't strain yourself.
But I also have to remember that scene. I think I have to watch it again. But it's been a while since I've seen Men in Tights.
That would be a great one for all of us.
I will say my buddy Taylor was laughing his ass off at this part though with the hurricane. Like when Hurricane like stuck his head over the thing to like see.
Oh.
He was laughing. He's like, I was like, nah, this is what it had the intention of, was people who are just like, this is funny, this is silly. But it's just silly. It's ham-handed. Godfather comes in, get out of here, you horn dog. My hoe's okay.
That's unreal. Wild stuff. But anyway, all right. Enough screwing around. It's time for some serious shit on this show. We have a no disqualification match between The Undertaker and Ric Flair up next here at WrestleMania X8. This match itself goes, where is it here on the thing? Yeah, 18 minutes and 47 seconds. And it ends up with one of the most iconic looks, I think, for Big Evil, The Undertaker, that we ever see. Did I end up throwing that in there? I'm pretty sure I did. Where is it here? Yes, right here. With The Undertaker standing victorious and doing the whole... This is the first time I think they ever really acknowledged a streak being a thing. I think they kind of acknowledged it the year before a little bit, but it was such a 50-50 match with Triple H. You weren't sure which way it was going to go. This one here was... Taker finally put a big notch on his streak. He's 10-0 at WrestleMania. This is a big thing, right? So
I also look from this angle, he just looks like somebody's dad with like a beer gut. He's like, I'm not taking you kids to Palladium. Get back in the truck.
Exactly.
This just looks like my buddy's dad.
It's all about the rec room now in 2023. Ain't no Palladium anymore.
No Palladium anymore.
No more
He
Palladium.
looks like somebody's dad who's working on a vehicle that's on a hoist.
He definitely owns a Harley Davidson.
Yes, there we go.
Yes.
So, thoughts on this match? I think this is one of the underrated Taker matches that we've seen, especially at WrestleMania, because this is a match that Taker behind the scenes wanted. Ric Flair was reluctant to give him because Ric Flair wasn't sure if he could be Ric Flair anymore in the ring. But Flair had only had one other match leading up to this thing, and that was the match at the Royal Rumble against Mr. McMahon, which, let's face it, that's not necessarily a gauge for in-ring talent at that point. It's more of a street fight than anything else. And so Flair was questioning himself, hey, can I go anymore at this point? Can I still bring it on a night-to-night basis and that stuff? And so he wanted to prove himself against the Undertaker. Undertaker wanted the old school Ric Flair because before WWF, Undertaker was in NWA and Ric Flair was the guy. So of course, he has that imprinted in his mind that to beat a man, you got to beat the man. Woo, So yeah, that's it. And we saw the vignette leading into the match. Again, another great produced bit. They had some really awesome pre-match bits during this era for packages and angles and stuff like that. And we saw the whole angle, how it shaped up, how Taker attacked David Flair at the training thing, and to get the match out of it, how he attacked Arn Anderson, the whole deal. And it's I think it translated to a great match. It's not match of the night by any stretch of the imagination, just because that bar gets set out into the stratosphere later on, but it's definitely a forgotten classic of the Undertaker's, I believe.
I think this was a good match. I think the vignettes, like the whole thing with David Flair, because isn't he the one that died, David?
No, that was Reed that passed away, unfortunately. Yeah.
Okay.
David's still around. David's the one that bailed out of wrestling, I think, sometime thereafter this.
Yeah, he never made it out of that training center he got beat up in.
No, he may still be laying in the shower. We're not sure.
He's still laying. It just, I don't know. It kind of like this makes like the Undertaker, like it was very much into his Big Evil phase, and like he's doing like the whole like
the Booger Red.
I'm just a biker that's like beating up your son in the shower.
Yeah.
Honestly, I think I mean, yeah, I think Taker was doing something kind of cool with that whole character change. But by this point, it's like, I think this match would have been better if the feud would have been Flair, like kind of trying to see if he can still go.
Yeah.
And doing Dead Man Taker with this. Because if you would have had that, in many ways, kind of like how, you know, when Undertaker eventually had that feud with Shawn Michaels, of how that was when Shawn was wondering if he could still go. And Taker was just like, if you think you can beat me, I'll make you rest in peace. And like do the whole, and like Shawn would have to like, you know, Dead Man, you gotta beat me in that ring before I quit, you know, or whatever.
Yeah.
So he's got to like, he's like, it was very much like that. Can Shawn go? And I think like that would have worked perfectly, because I was thinking about this. I was like, Ric Flair's never faced the Undertaker. Like,
Nope.
Ric Flair faces all these other kinds of dudes, and it was a perfect match opportunity for Ric Flair to finally kind of like face his demons. I really loved. Some people really hated it, but I going forward, like I loved how when with John Cena and the late Bray Wyatt with the Fiend, they did like the Firefly Funhouse match. Some people really hated it, but I loved how it kind of turned the. I know you hate it, Ty, but
go back and watch the review. Yes.
How it kind of like turned things on Cena a little bit. Like I loved how it was just like, it was very much like it kind of dresses down the man more so than the character. And it is like one of those things where it's like you kind of feel the mortality of it. You have that legend finally facing, like, we all know apparently Hogan kind of refused to work with Undertaker because of, he said, oh, he spiked me in my head and my neck's fucked up because of the Undertaker, and Undertaker's kind of always had an issue with Hogan since then, and you know, that match was kind of never going to happen again, right? But this match could have been, who better than the outspoken woo kind of, you know, Ric Flair being his total, you know, like, you know, jet flying, limousine riding, you know, wheeling dealing, son of a gun, you know, and like woo. And it's like to have him checked by the guy that's going to take your soul. And so I think it would have been better that way. Yes. But we got what I again, the reaction, this match from the newbie crowd with me, got a really good reaction. Like my buddy was like, there's no way that's real blood. I'm like, yeah, he bladed.
That's blood.
I explained how Flair was like the king of blading. Every match, Flair's like, I'm gonna cut myself open, you know, and just bleed all over the place. And he's like, that is so much blood. And I'm like, yeah, man, that's Flair, man. He's intense. He's like, so he does it. He yeah, he's a razor in his trunks. He pulls it out when he's down and the camera's off him, and he goes like that. And so when he gets hit there again, now it's gonna bleed like crazy because it's a face wound, right? And he like that one got a match. People were like, whoa, this is really bloody, and like, why is he beating up that old man? So like, there's great potential for this match. I think it could have been a lot better, but overall, I still think this was a good match.
I don't like it.
2 likes and 1 dislike. Okay.
No. I mean, okay. I hated the build-up for this match because I hate the whole like Undertaker's going after Ric Flair, who's the commissioner of one of the shows at Raw at the time. I'm like, the build-up was stupid. The story was stupid. Attacking David Flair, who never became a wrestler in WWE, is stupid. I hated this Undertaker gimmick, the biker. Like, again, you normalize Kane, he becomes unserious. You can't buy into him anymore. You normalize Taker, same kind of thing. Let's be honest here. There was a few years here, I'm like, I hate this version of Taker. But all it made me do was maybe clamor for the other Taker to come back. So maybe it was necessary. I don't know. But you know what I did not understand for the life of me? This is supposed to be a street fight. It's supposed to be like this intense, like personal feud between the two, almost to the point of it being an unsanctioned match type of thing. And yet Ric Flair says, you know what? I'm going to wear this robe. I'm going to put on my athletic gear, and I'm going to wait for the bell.
Flair's dressed for a WCW title defense, and Taker's dressed for a street fight. Yeah.
Exactly. You waited for the bell to start, like, jump the Undertaker.
Yeah.
It's a street fight. Why did you walk into this like you're wrestling friggin' Steamboat?
But maybe it's because that's Ric Flair. That's all he knows. That's how he's always done it. It's street fight, whatever. Like, he's not familiar with this. This is another kind of test for him. He is going out there because he's looking.
This is a man who stripped Woo! Stripped down to his boxer shorts on live TV until Bischoff got out there and faced him.
Yeah.
Ric Flair is not above going out there in street clothes and wrestling somebody. The fact that he put on a robe to go to the ring with full athletic gear for a street fight and didn't bring a weapon against a man who's a foot taller than him, at least 2 decades younger than him. Like, what? Make some sense out of this, Rick.
Well, and the backup he had, like Arn Anderson does hit a spine buster on Taker at some point during this match too, but
that was a huge spine buster, by the way.
Big pop from the crowd too.
And now I know that Triple H's spine buster is just ripped off of Arn Anderson's
yes,
spine buster.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Oh, he's openly said in past. Yes, that's who I've ripped it off from is Arn Anderson.
The arrogance of that man to think he could do like AA. No.
To this day, Triple H is a huge WCW mark.
Yeah, he is.
Like, look at what happened last night.
Yeah, legit.
So yeah, I mean that's the whole thing, right? So who his influences are.
Big time.
Yes, for sure. Yeah. So the finish for this thing, Taker nails a tombstone after Flair fights out of the last ride. Taker goes 10-0 at Mania, and he'll rack up a few more before 2014. Of course, going 21-0 before Lesnar finally beats him, and then after that, Taker even gets like a mini streak going where he wins 2 more matches. Going into the 2 or 3 more, I think, or something like that before Roman Reigns gets the best of him in WrestleMania in Orlando there. So
the lamest put over, I guess you could say.
Yeah. So there we go. But so that's that. Michael Cole is backstage with Booker T. He's fighting Edge. Then we go to our next contest, which is Edge versus Booker T. Yes, this contest 1-on-1. However, the creative is probably the laziest creative I've ever seen in a build-up for any match on any pay-per-view.
Ridiculous.
They're fighting over shampoo.
Sort of. They're kind of just.
This is the shampoo. This is the shampoo match.
This is the shampoo match. They're fighting over a Japanese shampoo endorsement.
This is a really bad gimmick. I thought they were just having a match. I missed that. I must have been not paying attention or something. But I just want to say for the record, I love Edge.
Mm-hmm.
I love Booker T. Booker T. For whatever reason, I love Booker T. I just love Booker T. He always like the whole music. Like, can you dig it, sucker? Sucker. Comes out, he's just like this fucking psych, does the fucking jump, the fire comes up, and he's like looking at you like you did something wrong. Not like the stage just exploded behind him. And then he just walks out to the ring. I fucking love Booker T, man. He's got swagger. I love it.
Yeah.
I was like, come on. I wanted Booker to win. I knew
the promo he cuts with Michael Cole before this is pretty good too, where he's talking about Einstein's theory of relatives and
Booker T is smart. He's like, shut up, Michael Cole.
Booker T's awesome.
Sucker. Fucking Booker, man. He's the best.
Oh my God, I just realized it. They tried to book him like Mr. T.
They did.
Oh. I never put that together until you just did that voice.
I wasn't going to say anything, but go ahead.
Holy shit, it finally clicked. They tried to make him Mr. T.
Mm-hmm.
God, Vince McMahon's a fucking racist.
Yeah, you just got to make him Booker, man. Booker's the guy. You got to let him go out there and do his thing.
The joke about McMahon is that he always thinks he's stuck in 1985, 86 anyway. So, yeah, there would be.
He is, and he made Booker T Mr. T.
Yeah. Yeah.
I ain't it. I'm not unintelligent fool. It's the same shit. Wow.
Except could Mr. T breakdance? He couldn't, so Booker T could. So that's it.
But Booker T good. Yeah.
Yeah.
All he needed was a gold chain and a mohawk.
I always thought, can you dig it? And then the crowd yelling sucker with him was always one of the biggest popping catchphrases.
Yes.
Ever. Maybe I'm just a huge Booker T mark, but I love Booker. Man.
Well,
I always love. I don't know what it was. You just had this like attitude, this kind of swagger. I was like, I like Booker T, man.
When that invasion angle happened in 2001, I was able to get one of my dream matches knocked off the list because they did it at SummerSlam that year, The Rock versus Booker T, because I figured Booker T was WCW's version of The Rock, and The Rock is The Rock. So there we go. So I got to see, the WCW version of The Rock go against the genuine article with The Rock. So
I never thought Booker T was a Rock version. No.
That's what I thought.
No way.
Not saying that this is a direct copy. I was just saying that, it's kind of, they had the same vibe about them, the same.
No, they didn't. Booker T was like a Atlanta street smart kind of guy,
Houston
although
street
they
smart
were,
kind of guy.
even though they were Harlem Heat.
Yeah.
Which was interesting, but he's actually from the South. He's not from Harlem, but he's from the South, and he had like
from Texas.
like a Jax from Mortal Kombat 2 kind of look to him.
Mm-hmm.
He's kind of like he was. And he had with the flat top, and he was jive talking and break dancing in the ring and stuff like that. And can you dig it, sucker? And all that stuff.
The Hulk Hogan, we coming for you.
Hulk Hogan, we coming for you.
Okay.
When he realized, he's like, oh no.
Yeah,
no.
Like
Sherry Corpse in the background.
The Rock was like this, flashy, wearing $10,000 Versace shirts and with the glasses and catchphrases and making fun of people. And he was, he wasn't like loud about it. He wasn't. It was a different vibe completely from Booker T. Booker T's like I don't know, Mr. T, loud and brash and everything. And Rock was more smooth and calm and deliberate. And no, they weren't the same vibe. You just no. I ain't gonna say it.
Wow. Okay. No, I wasn't that. But I'm just saying. I'm just saying. To me, at that age, I thought it was cool. I mean, it's a dream match. I was like, all right, cool. The other dream match I had was Austin Goldberg, and that never happened. So
I would
have two guys that look the same but act completely different, and one guy's a much better wrestler than the other.
Yeah.
Whoop-a-dee-doo.
I still thought Booker T might be one of the biggest screwings ever, because I think he should have won that match against Triple H too, and I think that was WrestleMania 19. That was the next year.
The next year.
He should have won that match. I really
Seattle.
That match. That the build, people were behind him. I remember going back and watching that, and I was like, that's when I really became a Booker fan. I was like, he should have won that match.
You know what's hilarious? I forgot that match ever happened. It was years later. I was looking at the card on the back of the DVD. I'm like, what the fuck? Triple H fought Booker T?
Yeah.
For the championship?
Yeah.
What the hell? I completely forgot it even happened.
It's not the championship main event on the card, but it's one of the matches leading up
stuck
to
in the middle.
Stuck in the middle. Yeah.
Angle Lesnar was
that's the last match. Yes, of that one.
Booker T for the World Heavyweight title, which I thought it would have been poetic justice. I think Booker T winning that title back from Triple H.
Mm-hmm.
But whatever.
There we go.
It's McMahon.
Oh yeah, about this match. It's good. It's short, and it had a stupid story. And yes, it was over the shampoo thing, but I guess it was more or less like, "Hey Booker T, you're stupid. I ain't stupid, sucker. Here's WrestleMania."
Yeah.
Like, what the fuck kind of build-up is that?
It's two guys that would have better matches in about 3 or 4 years' time. So they're showcasing two of their younger guys that they're going to be showcasing heavily over the next 3 to 5 years on WWE TV and that stuff. Because once we hit 2004, 2005, Booker T and Edge are in main events all over the place, right? On both Raw and SmackDown, because one's on one brand.
This is kind of a very weak start.
It is, yes. So there we go.
I think ultimately they were just trying to find something to jazz up Edge winning at home.
Maybe,
but
because he's the only Canadian that goes over.
Yeah,
and he's kind of like, after this, he kind of starts getting pushed towards being the main event guy that he became. Because
not until Money in the Bank.
Well, I remember, because when I started watching wrestling, Edge was injured, I believe. But when he came back, he started doing that's when he started using Alter Bridge. And
yes, that's the push.
He was not using Alter Bridge here. He was using Rob Zombie from WWF Forcible Entry. The song Never Gonna Stop, in parentheses, the Black Cat Crossing Mix.
I kind of liked it.
I was gonna say the only thing.
Yeah, my
Awesome.
Durango, number 95.
The only thing that could have usurped this music was the music that eventually came from Alter Bridge, which
Yes.
was, Metal Lingus.
Mhm.
Now, also, I don't know if Ty knows this, maybe he does, but Alter Bridge is just Creed with a different lead singer.
I
Basically.
only know this because you mentioned this last time, but now I know.
I'm gonna say it every time.
I saw a commercial.
It's Miles Kennedy versus Scott Stapp, right?
Yeah, Scott Stapp's off.
Yeah.
I saw a commercial the other day where there's like they're looking at their phones and the Creed guy says, "Hey, you guys want to go on tour?" And they flip it, and it's the band and it's Creed.
Yes.
Yeah.
So that's
they're back
coming
together.
up, isn't it?
The original
Yeah.
lineup is back together. Yes.
Yeah, and
So then what happens? What happens to the Ultimate singer? Is he
Well,
going to
he's just-
tag on? And
They're just on like a hiatus right now. They're just taking a
Could you imagine Creed goes on tour with the opening act is Alter Bridge?
I mean, that would be a huge set for that band. They would be so tired.
That's so
The singers would love it, but the band would be like,
yeah,
fuck,
you just swap singers halfway through the
Wait,
show.
40 songs in one night. It'd be so awful. Mind you, I would go see Alter Bridge if they were doing some of the Creed songs I like. Like if they did Arms Wide Open and they did My Sacrifice and Higher, whatever that one is. I think it's just called Higher.
Yeah.
If they did those three with Miles Kennedy, I'd be like, I'd be picking up the bridge. I have no desire. And Creed's like, we're doing a North America tour, and then the only Canadian show they're doing.
That sounds like something that would be coming to a casino near you.
They're only doing one show in Toronto in Canada. And I was
Yeah,
like,
that's a bummer.
go see Creed.
I like how people, especially in the US, assume Toronto is Canada and is all of Canada. So is all of Canada Toronto? No, it isn't. Like literally look at a map. There's more than Toronto there.
I will not dignify that response. If they're going to be that stupid, I'm not going to help them.
No.
Well, even like Taylor Swift's like, we're going to do a stadium tour in North America. And I'm like, you're only doing Toronto, Taylor. And then she's like, I guess I'll add Vancouver after everybody's bought tickets to Toronto. I'm like, you suck.
Right.
You're horrible. This bad. But mind you, I noticed that on Beyonce's latest tour, she did not do a Canadian stop. And it's because my wife went and saw her last show at Commonwealth.
Okay.
Beyonce, I guess her tour people just thought, we can do an outdoor stadium concert in Edmonton in late October. What could go wrong?
It was
And
May.
it was May. It was
Yeah.
May.
I think it
It was
was.
the middle of May, and
spring.
it was still freezing cold.
Yeah.
It was raining. I was like, well, that's on you, Beyonce. You should have come in July.
That's on you, Queen Bee.
That's on you. You screwed up.
You know, I usually want the smoke, but I do not want any smoke from no beehive. Dems is crazy. If you want to smoke from the beehive, that's all you.
My
I do
sister's
not condone that shit.
I give her the smoke all the time.
Well, buzz.
Come at me. I'm not going to listen or read any of your tweets. So,
we'll do the social media shout out later. All right. So we talked about the finish of that one. Backstage, Coach catches up to Hurricane. Mighty Molly also catches up to Hurricane and nails Hurricane with a frying pan and gets the 1-2-3. So now she's the hardcore champion going forward as this entire mess continues. Yes, whatever.
This got a pop from my wife and her friend. They'd be like, "Oh, girl won it! Yay!" They were like, they were pretty excited. I was like, Molly Holly, she took the win.
Yeah, we seriously need to rig up a couple of cameras and get them together to watch or something like that.
Oh yeah, bring it on the next one.
Do like a watch along, yeah. Oh man, that's hilarious. That's awesome stuff. Next, yeah. Well, it's time for one of the main events on the card. It's Scott Hall with Kevin Nash taking on old Stone Cold Steve Austin in a one-on-one contest. The runtime for this thing goes 9 minutes and 51 seconds with Stone Cold Steve Austin and getting the win. What was the finish to this thing? The stunner oversell of the century by Scott Hall, the big stunner by Austin. But never mind. That's a little bit later on. Hang on. Yeah. So Austin nails a couple of stunners, including a massive oversell by Scott Hall for the 1-2-3 count.
Best ever.
It's the best stunner cell ever. Hall gets like legit horizontally 6 feet off the ground off of the jump.
Oh yeah. you know,
I think he lands on his stomach too, which is impressive as hell for a big guy. Because
Even-
Hall is 6'7", legit. So
yeah. Even at knowing like this pay-per-view was like 21 years ago.
Yeah.
And just like going back to feeling how I was a kid when I rediscovered all the Stone Cold stuff, and just as soon as the glass breaks, I'm off the couch. I'm like, fucking here we go. And everybody's like, oh, this is Stone Cold. Like, cause all like again, Bailey and their friend, they always heard me like every party we have, like somebody cracks a beer and if it like foams, somebody's like, oh, and I'm almost like, chug that beer, it's Stone Cold. Like, just like nobody knows what I'm talking about. And so I'm like, you're gonna see some Stone Cold shit here. And so this was their first exposure to Stone Cold in a match. So this was big for me. I was already on cloud nine because I just get to see Stone Cold in action, and I love this match. I mean, it was great. I love the angle. I love the NWO being typical NWO, and who's the best person for the NWO being as shitty as they can be to go up against? It's Stone Cold, because he's just gonna go like, I got no time for your stupid son bitch. You're gonna come at me and you're gonna tell Stone Cold Steve Austin that he's gonna have to follow the NWO. That's not going to happen. I'm going to open up a can of whoop ass on you, Scott Hall. I'm going to open up a can of whoop ass on you, Diesel. You know, like, just like, you know, just perfect. You know, I think the only better dressing down was The Rock when he was like, hey, you, Chico. And he goes, Big Daddy Cole. Like, that was the best. That's probably the only better dressing down. But like, who better? Stone Cold's just like, I'm going to kick your ass. You're going to come onto my show now.
Yeah.
I think you guys are still doing the whole fucking thing. Like, you're running the show.
Did you?
Here. No.
Yeah. Did you enjoy the revisit at the beginning of the vignette, the video package of the whole lethal dose of poison? The WWF has terminal cancer, blah blah blah, and it's the NWO and the whole revisit of their basic signing and the basic reveal that they were coming to the WWF, and then all of the shenanigans of the No Way Out pay-per-view right before this, where they get involved in all of the number one contendership matches and screw around the card a little bit and whatever. And yeah, so it's a solid.
I just
package
love Vince McMahon's voice on the promo too.
Yeah,
just a lethal dose of poison. The WWF
poison. Yes.
No, I love this match. I thought it was a classic fight. Kevin Nash comes out. You have the he's going to screw over, and then Stone Cold's too good. He's going to smack Kevin Nash in the face. Gives the double stunner. Scott Hall literally flies in the air. It looks like he actually is unconscious from the 1, 2, 3, and then smashes 4 beers or I guess 2 beers on each ring post corner, and like most Canadian beer salute on the ramp. I was like, that's the best.
That's arrive, raise hell, leave. That's Austin. Yeah, exactly.
I took the pay-per-view, which was kind of simmering. It was a great opening, and then a couple matches, like the Edge match and like the Goldust Maven thing. I was, it's the pay-per-view's got to sit here. That match took it. Boom! Now we're ready to go. All right,
now we're rolling. Yes, exactly.
Stone Cold came out. He raised hell. Let's go. Let's do this.
Yeah. So, and I mean, like with Austin and Hall and that stuff, one of my favorite spots, involves Nash. It's when the second referee, Jack Doan, slides into the ring to count the free count.
Oh, that was this one, right? Where he's like,
and Nash drops the shredder elbow on Doan, and Doan sells it like he's dead. Like, I'm not talking just dead. I'm talking like man ejected out of windshield of vehicle hitting concrete pillar dead. Like he's ragdolled on the ground. Like,
it was so good.
Like you're scraping him off of the canvas with a freaking spatula type dead.
One of the best ref bumps next to like Mike Chioda's from whatever that. I forget that one where he gets like side checked and was destroyed. Yeah, this was
and Little Nate's Charles Robinson has had some pretty good bumps in the past too in matches. But this is Doan selling Nash's big elbow like nobody's business. Like it's like the end of the world, and I'm like, oh, I love it.
Oh yeah, that was great.
Well, I'll tell you what.
Okay.
Now we've been watching a lot of retro stuff here. That's what we do. This is the retro. To see Scott Hall as Razor Ramon and how big he really was in those mid 90s with WWF.
Mm-hmm.
And everyone says that NWO as Scott Hall, he was even bigger because he was a bigger presence and more important of the NWO. Mm-hmm. But then you see him in this WrestleMania match, and you think it's like Stone Cold versus Scott Hall, and you see Scott Hall there with his NWO gear and the vest and everything. I'm like, wow, Razor Ramon was a million times better than Scott Hall.
Mm-hmm.
The
Well, he was
crowd
probably-
loved him better. He
Yeah.
was a bigger star. And they're the same person.
Yes.
It's just the dressing is different. They're actually the same character.
Yeah.
Just the dressing and the name is different.
Just Scott Hall was Scott Hall speaking through a bad Cuban accent. That's what it was.
Yeah, and that's what Razor Ramon was, a bad Cuban
And
accent.
Razor Ramon was speaking through a bad Cuban accent.
Yeah, they're the same characters, just dressed up a little differently. But Razor Ramon was so much better than just being Scott Hall, and it was crazy. The crowd was so into Stone Cold. It's, to me, like the second or third biggest pop consistently of the entire night.
Mm-hmm.
And they're with him with everything, with every stomp in the corner, the what, and all that kind of stuff. It was classic Stone Cold. It's a lot of brawling. He's not the technician he used to be because of the neck injuries from Owen. But they just go and they stand and they trade shots, and the crowd loves it. And the energy that Stone Cold brings. Scott Hall's a perfect opponent and mechanic to work with him. Takes the most hellacious stunner. That bump was crazy. Again, with the ref bump shenanigans, it happened in the Taker match. It happens in this match. It happens a few more spots. The turnbuckle thing didn't quite work, where somebody went into the turnbuckle that was exposed and they got pinned, but they kicked out. And then they ran it back again. And I'm like, I think you guys didn't set that one up a little bit properly, but whatever, it's forgivable because the atmosphere of that match was nuts.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I mean, now with the whole, I think you brought up a good point, Ty, with the Razor versus Scott Hall kind of thing. I think also wasn't like at this point, like he was still very healthy, but like he was starting to kind of really kind of fall into the habits of booze and pills. Like he was 10 years younger as Razor back in like 92 versus 2002. And like he was kind of back into it. So like I think that might have had something to do with it. I think that maybe that affected, because I even noticed as he was walking out, like his physique as Razor was like,
guys, don't forget the infamous plane ride from hell going to the coming back from the UK tour happens mere weeks after this pay-per-view. So it's
right,
and a lot of people get let go from the company after that. It's kind of the first episode of the Post-Mania cuts is basically due to that event, because you have Mr. Perfect getting cut, you have Scott Hall getting cut, you have a whole myriad of bottom mid-card guys getting cut. I think Goldust is even cut for a bit after this and that stuff. So I mean, it happens mere weeks after this pay-per-view.
Yeah, it's pretty. Yeah, so I think that might have. I think the only thing that would have made this a 5-star match potentially, maybe if it would have went a bit longer, but having a healthier Scott Hall versus a healthier Stone Cold. You know, honestly, if this match would have happened 5 years before it did, maybe that would have been a much better.
Just the fact that it's the whole perception is reality thing. Scott Hall is actually, of the 3 NWO members, they put Scott Hall as number 3. So it's Stone Cold versus the number 3 member of the NWO. Yeah, that wouldn't have happened had he been Razor Ramon, because Razor Ramon is a top guy. Scott Hall is the guy that in NWO never did much anything. He never held belts.
Well, because like because you had Hogan, obviously is Hogan, and then you had Nash leading the Wolfpack when they had this WCW. Right. So
and Hall was always Nash's buddy. Like Hall never led any iteration of the NWO or whatever. He was a founding member of the NWO, and he was the first member of the NWO to show up on WCW TV. But other than that,
he's most known for these little side bits and for like tasing Goldberg when Nash beat him and beat the streak. You know what I mean? Like he's known for these bits and stuff, but I don't know like classic matches he had in WCW.
That ladder match with Shawn Michaels, though.
Yeah, all his classic stuff in WWF. Yes.
Yeah. Razor Ramon got some hits. Scott Hall is like a mid guy, and they presented him as such, which is stupid.
And I think it's because he already had Hogan with Rock on this card, but maybe they could have went Stone Cold Nash. I don't know why they didn't though.
Yeah,
because Nash is an awful wrestler and everyone knows it, and maybe he wasn't in shape enough to be carried into a match without blowing one of his hamstrings.
So the popular rumors that are out there and that stuff is that both Rock and Austin at this time were clamoring for a match with Hogan, and Vince saw, okay, if I do Hogan Rock, there's major box office there. If I do Hogan Austin, there's major box office there because they're two huge stars and that stuff and everything like that. So he just decided just purely just go Hogan Rock first to see if Hogan could work with the younger guys and that stuff. And then he was going to revisit Hogan Austin. Now, don't forget, a few months from this, in June of 2002, Austin walks out of WWE.
That's right.
So if there was plans to do Hogan Austin at, say, SummerSlam or Survivor Series that year or something like that, it's out the window because Austin takes his ball and goes home.
I have a question.
Mm-hmm.
Where's Mick Foley in this one?
Mick Foley is just making like fan appearances and that stuff and everything at this point. He's not doing anything with the company per se at this moment. But
is he retired, or is he here?
I think the whole thing is he's retired at this point, but they still kind of bring him back for a Legends pop once in a while and that stuff if they're in the New York area or whatever. So
yeah, because I remember, again, when I started watching wrestling, I remember Foley coming back. That was a monstrous pop when he came back. And I think that wasn't right when he did the Rock Sock connection again. I think that was when he did the hardcore match with Randy Orton.
Yes. So 2004. Yeah. Right. We don't see Mick in a wrestling thing until about late 2003, early 2004 again. So yeah.
So what I'm getting at was what would have been interesting would have been if it was The Rock and Steve Austin versus the NWO, and then Mick does an appearance to help them out win it.
You could, but would you put that in on WrestleMania, your biggest show of the year?
Absolutely.
Versus a one-on-one with either guy versus the Hogan versus the Hogan versus the Hogan versus the Hogan.
Because you already have.
You want to Hulk my Hogan? What?
I like the star power in it. Plus, you get the little pop of Mick Foley coming back to help them out. And in the end, these three guys that the WCW didn't believe, well, two guys that they didn't believe in and one guy they didn't even know about, beat their top their top guys.
I almost would have had. I know it takes away from Triple H. If things would have been maybe a bit different, because I think this is right before Shawn Michaels returns. He comes back later this year because that was they do the SummerSlam.
August of 2002. That's when they do Triple H HBK. Yeah.
Right. So that was the good angle and everything like that. But it's like, Triple H eventually has his reign of terror, and we all remember that. And maybe quit watching wrestling for a bit.
A lot of people quit watching wrestling.
But it's like if only if Michaels would have come back earlier, you could have done DX NWO.
Yeah.
With maybe Foley coming in to help Triple H and Shawn Michaels, Hogan, and then you could have
what could have been right
Austin Jericho in a triple threat with The Rock and do the triple threat that way.
So what could have been?
Yeah.
Oh well.
Next match.
So a fan access video plays some interesting exhibits. The Stacy Keibler legs and butt thing bust is weird.
Very weird.
On
you never do this today.
On the DVD set, there is a bonus feature of them doing the fan access casts, and they did Booker T's hand and his face so fans could go up to it and check it out and stuff like that. They also did Stacy Keibler's butt. 2002, everybody.
There you go.
Wasn't her butt? It was her entire legs and her butt.
Legs and her butt. Yes.
And she's all like,
wow, it's so interesting. People keep putting their hands on the tush.
Yeah.
Look at that.
I actually fast
forward. Wait till you see the bonus feature.
I didn't put on. I started I remember I got to the part where Triple H is sitting there talking and he looks so fucking bored, like he doesn't want to do it. And I was like, this is dumb. I'm gonna
literally the biggest match of his life is coming up the next day and that stuff. They got a camera that says, how do you feel?
He's like, well, I'm just kind of fucking sitting here and people are, getting engaged and it's good, I guess. It's like, fuck, man. Put some life into it.
I wonder if that couple is still together. I wonder if they're happily married or if that's 2 or 3 marriages ago for either person.
I wonder when we get to the next match.
Well, end of disc 1, start of disc 2. How's that? So we'll go right on to our next contest, which is for the WWF World Tag Team Championship. Where is it? It is a 4-corner elimination tag match featuring the Hardy Boys, the Dudley Boys, the APA, and Billy and Chuck. You have to make some substitutions here because Edge and Christian aren't a team anymore, so you're bringing in new teams. Yes.
Can I start? Because I don't want to talk about this match very much.
I'm going to start with the performance of Saliva of the music of the Dudley Boys from Forcible Entry right here. Shout out. Track number 12 on Forcible Entry, Turn the Tables, the Dudley Boys theme.
Dun, 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 dun,
Basically.
dun, 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 dun.
I actually thought it was pretty cool. I like this.
Okay, go ahead.
I didn't like how Josie Scott's like grinded with Stacy Keibler as they're coming out.
I was going to say, did you like that part?
It was very. That's what us kids did back then. So.
I was like, yeah, that's right, Josie, you get it.
Yeah.
I also do point out my buddy Taylor, his cousin loves wrestling, and Jeff Hardy's his favorite wrestler. And it gets to the part where Stacy Keibler pulls up her shorts, and Jeff Hardy just walks up and smacks her on the ass, and then forcibly kisses her. And he looks over, he's like, Kayla, Jacob's favorite wrestler just committed sexual assault. It was great.
That was not consented. Yes, it was a different time back then.
I was like, oh man, but no, like it was. This match, I don't know. I think it was too much, a little bit too much. I mean, the APA go out early. I don't like seeing Ron Simmons, not getting his due. I don't know. Like this could have just been, in my mind, this could have been the Hardys versus Billy and Chuck, and have a hell of a tag team match instead. I mean, they were the champs. You got to put them out there.
Yeah. Well, hey, Billy and Chuck at that time, they actually had a little bit of a push, and they were, for a team that was kind of haphazardly put together. They were major mid-card heels at that point, because they were kind of playing more of the homophobia angle.
But which one was doing the pushing, Gorilla? Sorry.
Wow. Will you stop?
Thank you.
Ambiguously gay tag team. They're like, are they gay? Aren't they? Let's put Rico in the mix and see what people think.
Let's get him married on a SmackDown.
Yeah. Well, Billy nails Jeff with the tag team title belt, allowing Chuck to get the 1-2 free count. That's the finish of this thing. And then I think the runtime for this is 13 minutes and 50 seconds. So it's supposed to be the tag team car crash that last year's TLC match was with the teams involved. The problem is you've separated Edge and Christian. You have two completely new teams that like to just one team that loves to brawl, and then the other team that does technical wrestle a little bit, Billy and Chuck, and both teams are not made out for the extreme hardcore ECW-esque type style that the Hardys and the Dudley Boys are known for. So they wrestle a WWF style tag match while the Hardy Boys and the Dudleys do their hardcore thing, and it just doesn't jive. You have two completely separate matches going on in one match.
Mm-hmm. You really, they really should have just had the belts on the Dudleys and just have them fight the Hardys.
Yeah.
If you're not, the only reason I said Billy and Chuck is because they were the title holders at this time, so
and they retain.
But it's just like, I mean, now don't even give it to them. Like Billy Gunn was pretty much almost on his way out because after this, I think he left, right? And then Chuck Palumbo did the FBI, the whole.
They do the marriage angle on SmackDown a few months later. And then they do the split, and then neither guy really gets much traction after the split. I mean, Billy Gunn goes back to being the badass, and then he leaves. And then Chuck Palumbo does the FBI thing, and then
they give him a motorcycle.
Mm-hmm.
There you go.
One of those Titan bikes. Mm-hmm.
Okay, so APA, good tag team wrestlers.
Yes.
Chuck and Billy, good individual wrestlers.
They are.
What is with Billy Gunn being in these very suspect tag teams acclaimed? Chuck and Billy?
I feel
something, Mr. Billy?
I think he just likes doing it just to rev people up. That's
he sure likes doing it all right. Will you stop? Anyways, The Hardys, yeah. Seriously, this is just a slap together tag team match. It did not have the TLC factor to it. The concept of this match is fucking ridiculous as well.
Yeah.
You have two people in the ring who could tag anybody they want to go in the ring. It's an eliminator 1 by 1. So wouldn't you not want to ever be someone in the ring? Shouldn't this match just be a bunch of people trying to tag each other in and out instead of trying to fight each other?
Yeah.
It's stupid. It makes no sense. It's illogical. It was a shitty match. Another ref bump or a ref being distracted because Chuck and Billy.
We haven't hit on that too many times tonight. Yeah, right.
Oh God, the referees are just getting killed 1 by 1 in this thing.
Yeah,
getting assassinated. And yeah, fuck this match.
Yeah,
yeah, it's not that.
So there we go. All right,
kind of brought everything down after you have Stone Cold Austin or Stone Cold Hall brings it all up here, and then you have this match kind of like sucks it back down again.
Yeah, it does.
Not the greatest.
Yeah. So, all right. Backstage, the NWO regroups, and Hogan is talking to Hall and Nash and says, "Nope, I got to do this alone. I got to prove to myself that I can do this tonight, one-on-one with the Great One.
I got to do this myself, all right, brothers?
Yeah.
Hey, oh man, you can do this. That's fine."
And then Kevin Nash is like,
"Hey guys,
Nash says he's going to interfere regardless. We'll see what happens." So
that was Nash being played by Joe Pesci, apparently.
Yeah.
You stupid fuck! You're coming out to the match, hoping you're gonna do this the way you're gonna do it, right? Get your fucking.
Why you gotta be breaking my balls over here?
Well, we go back to the hardcore fuckery that's happening in the back.
Oh God, just end it.
Molly gets knocked out by Christian by slamming a door in her face.
Half a door.
This got one of the biggest pops of the night.
Oh, it did?
Yeah. Because when she hit that door, I laughed my ass off. She took that bump. She got cranked. Holly did such a good job.
Yeah, Molly did a great job.
And then, of course, we already are laughing at Christian. Christian was everybody's favorite at this point.
And he does the mug.
Because of the DDP face, which we didn't know why he was doing it at that time. So, like everybody was like all about Christian. And then when he came out after hitting him, they're like, "It's that guy again. It's Christian again." And then he won it and ran away. Oh, it was so funny. I love it. The foonery.
I'm glad they got a kick out of it. I'm kind of happy about
that's
that.
Awesome. I love
her getting smacked with half of a door and then him peering underneath the other half of the door.
Man, he like jumps on top. They're like, "What's he doing?" I was like, "He's winning the match."
Yeah, this is not another sexual assault. Trust us.
Yeah.
And then the big one. We have The Rock versus Hollywood Hulk Hogan. This is a match that runs 60 minutes and 24 seconds. Surprisingly, I thought this one actually, it seems like it runs longer, but it's only 16:24. And this is one of, we talked earlier on in the runs about matches that you would put on a, on a tape and send to outer space to show people what WWF or pro wrestling is on planet Earth, right? This one would be in consideration for it because this is an all-time WWF greatest hit. The Rock and Hogan in Toronto at Skydome, WrestleMania. 68,238. The attendance. Hogan coming out in the NWO garb, and then The Rock coming out. Both men getting decent. Well, Hogan's reaction was a lot louder than Rock's. They were booing Rock for a little bit during this thing, and then they were booing Rock for quite a bit during this, which was insane. And just a great back and forth between two legends of the game, and it's, to this day, this match holds up. Like, this would garner the same response in 2023, except maybe The Rock would get a few more cheers and Hogan a lot more boos if they were both.
This would not get the same response anymore.
Yeah, so it wouldn't. Yeah, there we go. Good point. But it's good. It's still fairly solid encounter. This is Hogan's first WrestleMania appearance since WrestleMania 9, and his first WWF pay-per-view singles match since King of the Ring 1993. Pop quiz: who was his last pay-per-view match against in the WWF in 1993? June of 1993. Yokozuna, correct. That's it.
The Rock's
That was the camera flash that blinded him and lost him the title.
Yep. You want to talk hokey finishes? There's a hokey finish for you.
Well, we don't want to talk hokey finishes. We want to talk about this match.
Yep. The epic stare down at the beginning, just chef's kiss. Hogan hulking up off of the opening lockup. All Hogan early on. And then, it goes from there. We have both men doing hulking up during the match. You have Hogan doing his classic hulking up and that stuff. And then you have The Rock imitating Hogan, which is great. And then you have Hogan imitating The Rock, and you have The Rock doing his shtick too. It's awesome. It's great of it. So I'm going to sit back on my opinion on this thing. I want to get Craig's opinion because he had a bunch of first timers watching it and that stuff, and then we'll get yours TL on it. So, Craig, what did your people think? Because this is the one that everybody said, "Hey, call us when this thing's on," and we wanted to see, right?
Yes. So they all were sitting down. We were watching this match. Everybody was cheering for The Rock, of course.
Yeah.
They knew who Hulk Hogan was, but they were like, he's so wet because he was so filled up. And like he had his when he took the bandana off, and they're like, and that's I think Bailey was like, he's so old. Like and he said, like, it looks like a dirty sex cramp because he like, takes the belt off and he's like he like gives that look to the crowd and he starts hitting him. But I mean, here's the thing though, you know what's so great about it is, like Bailey even said, she's like some of the moves like even got me. Like when he starts hitting The Rock with the belt, she actually was like, oh, like just very like oh god, like oh my god, like they were getting into it.
Yeah,
I got to see people who had absolutely no context to this match besides the fact that this was the meeting of two big superstars.
Yeah.
And this was finally happening, icon versus icon. They could see, they're like, wow, yeah, everybody was going crazy for it when he starts doing the Hulk up because he's kind of battling off The Rock's offense and people are going crazy for it.
Yeah.
Even when people kind of turned and started getting really, they started standing up when he was about to do the people's elbow. They're like, oh, he's gonna pull it. You know, they were really kind of into it. I mean, I guess I'm kind of maybe biased because like I never thought Hogan's matches were necessarily all that entertaining sometimes because it got old. But when if this happened in 1994, I don't think it would have gotten the same because everybody had been so used to it. This was because it's been almost 10 years.
Yeah, 9 years.
The Immortal One was in the WWF and he's back. And it's strange because even though he's playing the Hollywood Hogan character and he's heel with the NWO, there's something face in the air, which obviously we get to at the end when the NWO come out, they start attacking him, and then Rock comes back in, and then Hogan starts, and then he does over the top rope with
overselling again,
and then you get the big salute, and then you get the face turn. You get Hulk Hogan face turn, and he's like he's back. That's what makes this match for me, oddly enough. That's just for me, though, because I felt the match was good. Obviously, great spots. I love the taunting back and forth. I love the pacing starts slow. They're feeding off the crowd. They're letting it build. The narrative is already there. They don't really have to do much narrative building. This is just have a match.
Yes.
Story tell through the match. And they story tell through the match. And you can see almost the torch pass where it's like Hogan does this big move. And Rock kicks out, and Hogan responds. Finally, besides trying to bury somebody, he finally it needs more than that. And then the people's elbow, and that does it. But it's like the stand up, the respect, the handshake. Like Hogan's beaten, but he's not down. Like he's down, but he's not out. He lost the match, but like Hogan's still getting up, and he's still like, is he gonna hit the Rock? Is it still going? No, the respect. And then NWO come out, and then the face turn. That's what really completes this story. So that's why this match should have been a main event. This should have ended the show.
Yes. Okay, so popular lore with this is that Chris Jericho openly, day of the show, went to Vince McMahon and said, we have to swap our spots with Hogan and Rock. We have to go after, if we have to go earlier in the card with this and that stuff and get that match out of the way because there's going to be no way we're going to be able to follow Hogan and Rock. Apparently it went on deaf ears and they put a Hogan and Rock there. And there it is. But Jericho maintains that his match with Triple H, and I think even Triple H has said this in the past too, that their match that was the last match, the main event match, would have done better with critical acclaim and that stuff, had it been towards more the middle of the show, if not, you know, a little bit later in the card, but not in the main event slot, and you have Rock and Hogan in that main event spot. Because, yeah, that's the attraction. That's on the poster. Like, we showed the poster earlier. This is, you know, you look at the poster right here. That's icon versus icon. You have the best of the 80s and the 90s taking on the best of the 2000s right there.
Yeah. And I mean, a good wrestling card always kind of does this throughout the show, but it has to end there.
It has to end at an apex. Well,
And,
this is the apex of all apex.
Yeah. And it would have been perfect if you would have had Triple H winning the belt, being the champion. Starts that. So you would have been like Austin Hall. Tag team match down here.
Women's match.
Then you would have had. Then I would have gone Triple H, Jericho. So it's here.
Yeah.
Women's match.
Women's match. Yeah. Okay.
And then Hulk.
That's the way it should be. Yeah. Yeah.
Hulk and Rock.
Yep.
What about your thoughts, Ty?
Yeah, I think Triple H is pretty fucking arrogant for thinking he could main event. He could follow The Rock and Hogan.
No, he has admitted the same thing as Jericho, that he was with Jericho with them moving the match. It was Vince McMahon and the people at the end that pushed that through. Vince McMahon and Bruce Pritchard.
I believe that Jericho had the mind to be like, no, this, we can't follow them.
Yeah,
I truly believe that Triple H is like arrogant enough to think he could follow them.
Oh, okay.
I won the Rumble. It's going to be my time. I'm going to be the big face of this company. I'm going to get so much tan on me that I look like I'm from. Well, I won't even say it. He looked like a.
They're very orange. Yes.
He looked like a.
Stacy was very orange in the tag match too.
Good Lord, Triple H looked like a carrot. Anyways, there's nothing much you could say more added to about the icon versus icon match of Rock and Hogan. The only thing new I can say about it is what a professional job done by The Rock to protect an, at the time, 55-year-old Hogan, to work with him, to make sure he came out of that match as healthy as possible, to stay in his role. Even though The Rock was getting booed, he didn't become a heel in that match. He stayed babyface the whole time, and he needed to do that so at the very end, when Hogan turns face, that The Rock can be face with him, and they can leave the ring shaking hands and holding each other with the hand up like this and everything. So he played it perfectly, regardless of the crowd reaction. But I love that they both listened to the crowd, they fed into it. All the spots that went in. I mean, it's one of the best matches Hogan ever had, and it's so late in his career.
It is. Yeah.
And it's a big kudos to The Rock that I don't think he really gets for that match.
Yes, absolutely, for sure. So I have the finish of this thing, of course. Rock hits his third rock bottom in the match into the people's elbow for the 1-2-3 count. Big eruption, great, just like that for the finish of this thing. My question I have written down here, and I wrote this down during the watch through: is this either A, the perfect Hogan match, or B, one of Rock's greatest moments?
No,
I'd say it's more so The Rock's. Sorry, it's more so the Hogan's greatest match, because like a lot of the Hogan matches were him.
Not greatest. I'm saying perfect.
Oh,
perfect. The execution of it.
Both.
I think so. I think it was. I would say both. Because like I mean, like the great matches of his like run in the '80s, like against Andre, Macho Man, Warrior. Like it was just kind of like Slaughter. Yeah, it was like Chic. Piper, yeah. Like a lot of it was, Hogan. It does the formula. Hogan starts off, gets some offense, and gets beaten down, and then hulks up, and it's over. And this one had that perfect. It followed the formula. Yeah, it was a Hulk Hogan match, and then it was the torch pass that The Rock is on that level, 100%.
Yep. Okay. No,
this match was more about Hogan than anything. That's why he got cheered the way he did. And when the announcer said this is his 10th WrestleMania appearance, his first in 9 years.
Yes.
Like, that's crazy. This man really built this company. And to see him back after all this time, after all that has happened in other companies, to think that you would have never seen him again wrestle in a WWF ring. I mean, this is Hogan's moment. This is his last amazing moment.
Kind of interesting, the timing of this review versus what we seen last night.
What happened last night?
Yeah.
Very
you don't know what
similar.
happened last night?
What's that?
I know who showed up at the end top.
Do you?
Neon eyes, sparkling eyes, and Lena speaks. That Lena dies.
You're just supposed to say like Mussolini and finish it. That's all you got to do.
I'm just upset.
That's all you got to do.
I'm just upset they didn't stick him with "This Fire Burns" by Killswitch Engage.
It's not the right song anymore. That's a different version of punk. All right.
From another great WWE compilation, WWE Reckless Intent. But not the one that we're talking about
now.
Yeah.
Are we still talking about shitty rock bands? Can we go on now?
Living Color, man. Living Color.
I'm not talking about Living Color. I'm talking about what he just said.
Darkest days.
Fire burn. Oh, that's Killswitch Engage. They're not that crappy.
All right.
You watch
Stop
your
it.
mouth.
Will you stop?
Post-match, Hogan extends his hand for a handshake and The Rock accepts. And then Hall and Nash hit the ring. They start attacking Hogan. Rock comes back and fights off the outsiders. Rock says Hogan must pose, and then Hogan must pose, and the peasants rejoice.
Exactly. You know what's crazy? I just remembered something in nostalgia. When we were talking about all of our friends in a restaurant, how we all stopped everything that we were doing and finally watched this match. This is the one that we were waiting for.
Yeah.
I remember actually at the end, by the time this match finished, we were all kind of Hogan fans because it was like our childhood hero was one last time got to do a WrestleMania as the big attraction.
If I remember correctly,
we were all like applauding and clapping when this thing was done. That's
if I remember correctly, the younger fans like myself and that stuff that were in that famous players watching that pay-per-view all turned into big Hogan marks towards the end of that match again and that stuff and everything. And I had watched some classic Hogan stuff prior to it too, and that stuff. So I knew what Hulkamania was and that stuff, and I'd watched him through WCW and the whole deal and everything.
I just imagine a whole restaurant of people just up and clapping in appreciation for the match we just saw.
It really says something about how like late I got into wrestling, or just the time I got into wrestling, that my first time seeing Hulk Hogan on WWE TV was when he was playing Mr. America.
Oh Lord.
The Zach Gowen angle. I'm like, is he a joke? He's like, of course that's Hulk Hogan. They do the lie detector test. He's like, Mr. Vince McMahon, are you Mr. America? And he's like, no, brother. Ding.
Yeah.
And he looked Vince McMahon in, are you a piece of shit? No, I'm not. And he's like, oh, no. It's the dumbest thing ever. Anyway.
Yep. Well, hey, there we go. We didn't go to WWF New York, and we see the Big Show posing with kids. How nice! There we go.
He looks.
We get the.
He looked so miserable. He was like, "Whoa."
Well, that's the antithesis of a heel run for Big Show about this time next year. The problem is he gets stuck in a tag match with Nathan Jones against the Undertaker. So there we go.
Oh Lord.
And A-Train. So if I remember
Can we
correctly,
move on now?
Attendance announced 68,237. That remains to this day Rogers Center / Sky Dome live attendance record. Nothing has beat it since. So there we go. And nothing will beat it because they're turning that into a baseball diamond now, apparently. So there we go.
What?
Yeah. You haven't seen the photos coming out of Toronto of them tearing up the entire 100 level?
No.
They're turning it into a irreversible baseball diamond, a permanent baseball diamond now for the Blue Jays. That's it. Because the Blue Jays are the only tenants. So
okay, but what about big ass concerts?
You could do big ass concerts in a baseball stadium. Sure, they do it all the time.
So then you can still run a big ass main event wrestling show in the Sky Dome.
Oh, they do. Every Royal Rumble takes place in a baseball stadium. That's why the Royal Rumble next year, or the next pay-per-view, Royal Rumble is going to be at the Tropicana Dome or whatever in Tampa. It's not a great baseball stadium, but it's a baseball stadium.
So wait, did they make Skydome bigger or smaller?
They're increasing the seating capacity for baseball, but they're basically making the arena floor smaller to fit a baseball diamond, more intimate.
Oh, there you go.
So it might be better for wrestling.
Yes. They may, if they get a Royal Rumble the next few years and that stuff, they may be able to hit 70,000, 75,000 for a Rumble there.
That'd be cool.
Mm-hmm.
Be nice.
So keep your eyes open on.
We should do it in Edmonton at Remax Field.
No, that should be AEW.
Attendance of 12,000.
Yeah, that would be some AEW shit.
That will be AEW the way it's trending right now. Unfortunately,
yeah, people on steel benches.
Yeah.
Worst. And Moxley is bleeding already.
Yeah. Well, we get to the WWE Women's Triple Threat title match next on the card. This is the matchup with Lita, Jazz, and Trish Stratus. This is one of Trish's most iconic looks at a WrestleMania, the Maple Leaf outfit and that stuff. So there we go. I've always been a fan of that look myself. The match itself goes 6 minutes and 16 seconds, and Jazz retains, which is, I remember when I watched this the first time and that stuff and watched it in subsequent years, I always forget that Jazz walks in as champion and retains off of this one. It's like, oh, well, there goes the necessity of having that match, I guess. But, arguably she was the best worker they had in the female division at the time because everybody was either not under contract or hurt. That was
she's a
available.
Good power wrestler. She went up well against Lita and Trish as a power wrestler. She should have went in as a champion and leave as a champion. It made sense. Yeah. Lita was hella over, especially for a crowd that was absolutely spent because they used all their energy in that Hogan and Rock match. This was the piss break that everybody needed. Trish Stratus wasn't quite where she was going to get as a Hall of Famer. No. She wasn't there yet.
No,
she didn't even
have. She's about a year and a half off here. Yeah,
yeah, and she didn't even have her major theme song yet or anything. So I mean, this is the beginning of Trish Stratus as the wrestler because before she was just a really hot valet.
Yeah,
like that one WrestleMania where there's Linda McMahon in the ring and she gets slapped.
Mm-hmm.
Was that the WrestleMania the year before?
Yeah, 2001.
Okay, yeah. So. Yeah, so last year she's a valet. This year she's beginning to be a wrestler. Will soon become a Hall of Famer. Lita is hella over and really good crowd pop given that the crowd is spent. Mm-hmm. Jazz gets the win. Let's move on.
Mm-hmm. There we go.
I was just going to say, I think Zelina Vega in Puerto Rico got the same treatment that Trish did in Toronto. Comes out with the big crowd pop and then somebody else wins.
Yes.
I dare say Zelina Vegas was much bigger because Puerto Rico was really behind her.
They were nutty for her, yeah.
Oh yeah,
it was nuts. That was way bigger than this. Is just like a cheap little hometown pop. The Vega one was like all out pandering.
We did it. We did the post show that night, and it was the reaction that we got from people and that stuff on the Zelina Vega pop and that stuff was a little bit kind of second to Bad Bunny because Bad Bunny came out and was like a god there. So I mean,
he was.
I saw that entrance, that pop that he got. Because I was like, I don't know, do these wrestlers get a lot I don't want to say gimmick wrestlers, like guys that aren't full-time wrestlers, like Bad Bunny's a rapper, he became trained, he put the work in and he's really skilled or whatever, I guess.
Yep. Or calling it right now, WrestleMania next year in Philly, Bad Bunny versus Logan Paul for the US title. It's going to happen.
That'd be pretty cool.
Mm-hmm.
I think, yeah, because when I remember watching the footage of him come out just quickly, when that pop and everybody's singing his song to him, I was just like, that is a guy who is fucking pop.
Yeah. That would have been a fun live of environment to be a part of.
I would have loved to have been there, man. Puerto Rico for that.
Yeah. It would have been better if they would have had Saliva playing the song.
Which we see coming up next because the next match. Well, first of all, we got to finish off the whole freaking thing with Christian attempting to leave the building with the Hardcore Championship. He attempts to leave the building, but Maven rolls up Christian to regain the title, steal Christian's cab, and leaves the Skydome Hardcore Champion. So everything that we see with the Hardcore title means dickhole going into.
It does. It means nothing. Drake gets the belt and rides off into the sunset. Good for him.
And he goes and he records views, weeks later, right? So there we go.
I was like, oh, I wasn't. And then Christian has
The hardcore title is in his bag up on top of the CN tower there, where he's kind of sitting and pondering, right?
Also, this got a pop from the newbie crowd because they're like Christian already put his bag in that car. He lost all his stuff.
Got carjacked. And he goes into a temper tantrum after. So so okay, WWF Undisputed World Heavyweight Championship on the line. Triple H, the challenger, versus Chris Jericho, the champion. And Chris Jericho has Stephanie McMahon in his corner. This match itself runs 18 minutes and 41 seconds. And it is the culmination of Triple H's big return from the quad injury the year before. And he regains he becomes the undisputed world heavyweight champion at the finish of this match, because Jericho goes for a crossbody, but Triple H captures him and nails a pedigree for the 1-2-3, and new undisputed champion is Triple H. Fought.
Jericho was small.
Yes, compared to Triple H, he looks like a cruiserweight. Yes.
But also, they presented him as small. Like, I remember, in the build-up for this whole WrestleMania, it's all like, Stone Cold Steve Austin is going to go in. The Rock is going to go in. Triple H is going to go in. Their brother are going to be at my WrestleMania.
I'm the undisputed champion, Chris Jericho.
Like, it's just, he was so, small compared to everybody. He really didn't fit as champion at that time.
Yeah.
And Triple H is roided to the gills and tanned to the bronze and arrogant as shit for thinking he could follow Rock and Hogan.
Yeah, this is not a Rock and Hogan type match. No, it's a very good championship match, but it's not on the same level as Rock and Hogan.
No, it's not. I thought, looking back at that, like, oh, this is actually going to be like the sleeper. Like, this is going to steal WrestleMania. And in hindsight, when we look back, this was actually the masterpiece and not Rock and Hogan. Wrong. This was an everyday Monday Night Raw Triple H match with a lot of scrapping and brawling and outside and interference and weapons and bullshit and Stephanie McMahon bits. Like, it's just fuck Triple H, man.
Oh, there we go.
There he is. Right.
You see that right there? He thinks that's the biggest moment of his career right there.
Yeah.
And it's the most forgotten main event in WrestleMania history.
Yeah, because nobody remembers how the push ends. It's how it begins with the return at MSG and the ovation, and then the Royal Rumble win. That's it.
Yeah, his biggest moment is coming out to his own theme song and leaving.
By the way, Drowning Pool plays Triple H to the ring.
Oh my god!
that track is track number 1 on Forcible Injury. The game Triple H's theme. I guess Motorhead couldn't make it for the second year in a row, so they had to send Drowning Pool to do it.
Oh, it was awful.
When Motorhead did it, it was fucking dope because it's
yes. Well, it's a classic. It's Lemmy. They're boys. Lemmy and Triple H are boys.
Oh yeah. But no, I mean, I know Ty does not like Triple H. I like Triple H because I thought he was, looking back on it, he was the heel that I hated the most. And that's the mark of a good heel. I'm not saying quality wise he's like the best that's ever been. I'm just saying he was a quality heel. I think he's a Hall of Famer. He's going to be. I mean, let's not kid ourselves. He's like in control of the company. He'll put himself in there. But he does deserve to go in there. I think that, this match should not have followed Hogan Rock. It just couldn't.
No, of course not.
But I mean, like, I think this also sets the stage character-wise. It's like this was supposed to be the big moment in his career, and Triple H never really got that. He never got the Daniel Bryan pop that he tried to stop so hard.
Yeah.
And he's not that good.
Well, and this was also the wrong mania to do such a thing with. You're going against a Canadian champion in Canada.
Well, and like, you're not gonna, Triple H wasn't gonna get over. Like when Jericho was coming out, and honestly, I love Jericho's theme song. Just the flock you like sheep. Just like Jericho's like people were like Jericho because it was like Winnipeg. Here we go. let's go. You know, just like how we saw him in AEW, like people are just like, yeah, fucking right, let's go, Jericho.
Yeah.
You know, we're gonna boo Calgary when you mention it, but then we're gonna be behind you the rest of the way. Fuck Don Callis. But like that's the thing. Like I think you know, such a mistake to put this match at the end. I don't know. Like, I mean, maybe Triple H did kind of convince Vince, like, yeah, I think we can do it. But I mean, like, I do think Vince was the one that still made that call. Like,
yes.
Like this wasn't Triple H's call. I think.
Yeah, I'm with you 100% there. Yeah, I think this is definitely a
and that's a mistake. It was a mistake. It was a bad call. Maybe even Vince would think it's a bad call.
Yes.
You know? I think
he'll never admit it, but yes.
Now I think Triple H and Jericho, like now, if they're saying that shouldn't have happened, I believe them in hindsight.
Yeah, both men are on record saying that they would have rather had Hogan Rock close the show.
Because it actually would have put Triple H in a better position, I think, going forward. Because after this, doesn't he get injured again and he loses the belts?
Not for a while. I mean, he's still champion going through the end of the year. Don't forget the brand extension or brand split happens shortly thereafter this too, after the WWE rechristening. So
doesn't Triple H lose to Hogan at Backlash?
He does, yes.
So it's like a month later he loses the belt to Hogan because Hogan's
popularity is through the roof. It's 1980s level Hogan.
It's Hulkamania.
It's Hulkamania again, yeah.
But then I'm pretty sure Hogan loses to the Undertaker.
He does.
And then the Undertaker loses to
The Rock.
And that's right. That sets up Rock Lesnar.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
Essentially. And then that's when Lesnar took and they had the Undisputed belt made, and then Bischoff gave the world title to Triple H, and that's the reign of terror.
Triple H towards the fall, and we get the first Elimination Chamber match at Survivor Series that year. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
So there we go.
So now we're
at the top of the ladder here, and it just the Undisputed title in 2002. People say 2000 WCW is bad for world title changes. I argue that 2002 the world title changes in WWF are not as bad, but it's getting towards the end of the year to ludicrous levels. With the matter, amount of flip
David Arquette and Vince Russo got WCW titles.
Yes, I'm saying that's the worst
comparison.
I'm saying that's worse, but I'm saying that 2002 might be a
They're not comparable.
Top 5. I'm just saying
they're not comparable. David Arquette got a belt, and so did Vince Russo.
I'm saying that 2000 WCW is at the top of the list by a wide margin, but I'm saying 2000. You'd be surprised, but 2002 WWE is in the top 5. It's in the top 5.
Well, if it's the top 5, the 1 is here and the 5's through the fucking floor.
Yeah.
There's a huge gap. I think
there's a major fucking gap.
I think that's what he's saying. There's a huge
That's what I'm saying. It's
you can't be as bad.
2002 is a sleeper for the amount of title changes.
2000 WCW.
Yeah, I don't think WCW is bad.
I don't think there's a comparison for that. But I think he's right. Like in terms of maybe let's go post Monday Night Wars WWE. This might be one of the boring title change years. I mean, obviously the reign of terror and stuff.
It's not boring. It's just the amount of title changes that this year in 2002 is kind of it shocks people when they look at it.
If you want a more comparable one of the amount of changes, it's when Mick Foley and The Rock and Stone Cold and Triple H were all feuding for the belt, because it would change almost every pay-per-view. There's a thing that says The Rock never held the belt for longer than 4 months.
That's 2000 WWE.
That's like 99, 2000 WWE. That's when there's a whole bunch of changes, and that's why
2000 WWF right there.
That's why Triple H is a friggin' 15-time world champion out of nowhere.
Yeah.
Is because of those reigns.
This year didn't help it either, but you have to say.
I would say though that I think the difference, like even though there's a lot of title changes, that 2000 year, like those are all bona fide top guys: Foley, Rock, Austin, every single one of those guys.
Yeah. That's the flexibility they had, and that's WCW didn't have that flexibility.
No. They had like maybe we'll put the belt on Buff Bagwell,
which they never did.
Surprisingly, Bagwell's name is not amongst the world champions from that year. Jeff Jarrett's name's on there, but
we know how Ty feels about Double J.
Don't know, you should know.
Double T.
I think as I spell my name.
Oh, the last bit of the pay-per-view is an end video using a live version of Superstar, and then Marquee and Out, the runtime 3 hours and 40 minutes, and that is WrestleMania 18 front to back. It is now time to give this a rating out of 10, like we usually do, and I will go first by giving this pay-per-view a 7 out of 10. I'm going to give WrestleMania X8 a 7 out of 10. Again, because of the all-time nature of Hogan Rock, because that's something you always see during WrestleMania time. They replay it still to this day, and I think they still reuse that stare down in every opening WrestleMania package ever in the history of anything. Austin and Hall is a fun rewatch, just because of all the shenanigans of the NWO and so on and so forth. Like I said, Flair and Undertaker is a favorite rewatch of mine because it's one of my favorite matches Taker has had in the WrestleMania streak between him and Ric Flair. So it's that. The show has its warts. No more hardcore stuff, please, for a while. I'm kind of burnt out on it there. And I know it's my selection next for the next pay-per-view or show or whatever. And I know that I will not be instituting a show that has the hardcore division in it. So there we go. Good for us. But it's at that point where it's kind of like it doesn't add anything to these shows. So that's it. But I think that the all-time nature of Hogan Rock, the crowd being as hot as they were, the nostalgia trip, as bad as the music is of the music, and thinking like, oh yeah, one time I liked this stuff, it's through there. But that's basically it. And it's kind of weird watching a WrestleMania without a lot of celebrities. That's it. I think I think maybe in the front row I seen a very young Will Sasso, but that's about it.
I love Will Sasso.
I love Will Sasso too.
I know you do.
Thanks, Craig, for getting me started on Dudesy, by the way. I'm fucking loving that podcast. It's amazing.
Fantastic podcast.
It's a great podcast, yes. I should actually reach out to I might take Chad Kulchin out on his offer and have him join us to review. I'm thinking he might review, or the first person to review, that clip of the 91 Royal Rumble of Sherry and the Warrior from the 91 Royal Rumble.
It would be great. We'd do that.
Get an outsider's opinion on that. So maybe I'll track that down for 24. That might be a little project that I got going. So we'll
maybe he'll see if he judges if I have a better Ventura accent.
Yeah, maybe.
I don't, but we'll see if he does things. It's up there.
That'd be cool. So, but anyway, 7 out of 10. That's what I'm going to give it. We'll go TL this time just to change the order up a little bit. Mr. TL, what are you taking here for this out of 10 business?
I'm so torn on this one because I have all the nostalgia that goes with this, like the real memories that I lived through to watch this in its day, and to go back and just get the same feelings again and everything. I'm so torn. This is like literally the difference between a 5 and a 10. Seriously, this is crazy.
Split the distance. Go 7.5.
Yeah,
split the difference of 7.5. Yeah.
The problem is that we were joking about his 7.5 last night. So
yeah, that's funny. That is true. That's true. Man, man, come back to me. I gotta.
Okay. Cool. Yeah. Fair enough. So Craig, if you're ready to go with yours, I'll get yours. Yeah.
So very similar to Ty, like nostalgia, because like I remember going back and looking back to some of these matches. Like I didn't watch this whole pay-per-view all the way through, but I've seen the Hogan Rock match before, and I've seen the Triple H Jericho match before, just on my own time, going back as a young fan, but also getting to sit there and see people who hadn't seen those matches before, haven't really seen wrestling before, and getting their reactions.
That's a cool wrinkle. I like that wrinkle that you brought in. That's
a wrinkle.
Cool.
It does. I guess it biases my view, but I mean, let's talk about that for a second, because nostalgia of these kinds of matches, that's the stuff that keeps you young. That's the stuff that makes you get warm and fuzzy, and that matters. That's important to people. That's passion. That's love. That's people around you had at that time. I give this pay-per-view with its warts, yes, but strong start, great Van Dam Regal match, good DDP, and who did he fight?
DDP Christian. Yeah.
Christian,
Yeah.
That whole angle making us laugh. The tantrum that was so funny. And then of course you got Austin Hall, get to see Stone Cold do his thing, get Rock Hogan. I still thought the championship match was good, just should not have been the main event. But I'm gonna give it a 9.
A 9. Wow. Okay. Cool.
9. It's a 9 because
of
so much of what this pay-per-view meant, and you can't, if you could bottle that energy when the Hogan Rock stare down, that is you can't get it better than that. There's as wrestlers, you can't ask for a better environment. And when you have pay-per-views with that kind of environment and the rest of the card's pretty solid, yes, you got the shitty hardcore stuff and you got, the weird tag match and the women's match could have been better, but still when the high points of this pay-per-view hit, and they're high, can't get much higher.
Can you take me higher?
Can you take me higher? Creed, we're back to it.
Which, by the way, Creed, Young Grow Old is track number 3 on Forceful Entry. Available anywhere fine CDs are sold. Anyway.
Giving us the Ron Simmons look.
Damn.
All right.
Given everything that you just said and putting it all into consideration, you're right. The nostalgia factor is important.
Yes.
The fact that I got to see this with a whole bunch of friends and groups of friends and my people that are no longer with us that I remember spending time with at that event.
Yes.
And
I feel you. Yes.
It's one of those great moments that I'll never forget. And now looking back on it, it'll always give me the warm and fuzzies watching it. And it did again. And now watching it as like an older fan, and I see that this is a Christian. This is his Wrestlemania in a weird way.
Yeah,
he really stole the show.
His coming out party. Yeah,
yeah, this is crazy. I also realized that neither of you mentioned the Kane and Kurt Angle match.
It's such a sleeper. Such a sleeper.
All things considered, you're right though. This is a 9 out of 10.
All right.
I'll always go back and watch this and to watch it all over again, and I will watch it all over again because it'll always be that nostalgic WrestleMania for me.
Wow, I am the one that put the lowest score forward for this one. That's insane. That's actually pretty wild. Holy smoke!
You didn't live it, man.
Apparently, I didn't. Even though I talked about going to famous players and watching it in the day, and then coming home and watching the highlights on TSN. And
but in a way, Craig, you did live it because even though it's years later, you all saw it together for the first time as if it was something new because it was new.
Which is kind of cool. Yeah,
that's true. At this point in time,
your own way.
Damn it! Where was my invite?
At this point, I know it was March.
So did you want your hair dyed?
Yeah. Okay. What do you think? I could bring back the frosted tips from the 2000s there, and that's what they had.
I was gonna say, I
watched pop punk again.
What I was living at this point, or a little after this pay-per-view, was I was living the Leafs losing the Eastern Final to Carolina.
Oh,
that's what I was living. And then they would have had to go on and play Detroit, and that was the Hasek and Eisenman year. Like,
yeah.
Fucking jerk.
That's our old buddy Ken Holland and his GM abilities back then.
Yep. All right, we don't need to get into all that.
No. Hey, they did win tonight, so hey, there we go. So
will you stop?
I guess so. Yes, exactly. All right. Well, we're going to tell the Undertaker to rest in peace. So there we go. And yeah, there it is. That's it. I guess it's my turn to pick.
Yeah, it is.
It is. Okay. So I got.
Are you ready?
I will suss out a show. I kind of have an idea of what we're going to do. Again, we're not really going to go on the modern WWF pay-per-view canon. I'm going to pick another rare bird for us to take a look at, but it'll be interesting because there's enough WWF talent on it to qualify as, basically a WWF event. However, it's not a WWF event.
What is it? The episode of That 70s Show where they appeared?
No. Is it the North Korea pay-per-view?
No.
Damn it.
No.
Is it that episode of Boy Meets World where Vader is what's his name's dad?
No.
Oh god.
No, we'll have some fun dissecting.
I know it. It's when the WWF superstars were on the weakest link.
No.
Damn it. There was
it's the episode of Family Feud with all the WWF guys.
No.
I just wanted.
What the hell is it? What the hell is it?
You'll find out when it comes time to do the show.
when I just wanted to point out, like, I remember watching the Weakest Link when they did that, and like Stone Cold's on there and like says what to the host. It was so great. But also just Kane standing there in his Kane costume and being like, bank. Just like he's just there's old Jack, like, and then like, but he's smart, right? Because he's like, you're showing how smart Kane is, and so she's like, "What's in the U.S. constitutional right in the 1774?" And he's just like, "The states' rights constituents democracy declaration plan." She's like, "Correct." I'm like, "Oh, Kane's a genius."
And unfortunately, Trish Stratus, who's a Canadian, they asked her what month is Thanksgiving, and she said October, like a good Canadian.
Yeah,
but they gave her it wrong, and Booker T was beside himself, like, "You a damn fool."
I'm from Canada.
Booker T, be easy on her, man. She's Canadian.
Exactly, she's Canadian. Jeez, yeah, no, they did Trish dirty there. They did her dirty. So they did a dirty on her. So that's not good. So
can I?
Yes.
Before we end the episode, it just made me think of the greatest Price is Right appearance of all time, which was my cousin who actually got on the Price is Right. Like, this was back in the 90s. I have to find the tape of this. This is one of my missions in life. Is because when he got on in the 90s, because he talked to the producer before the show, and he's like a really like happy guy. His name's Lon. He's like really happy, good, like, just good natured dude from Vancouver Island. And so they're like, yeah, well, we should get that guy. And so they called him down. It's like, Lon Liddell, come on down. You're the next. And he like runs down the stairs. He's so excited. He's losing his mind. But this
did he do the Kermit the Frog arm?
Oh yeah, he used hands. He was like, and like, and the best part is so he gets to the podium. He doesn't get on. Like, he stays at the podium for the rest of the show. But I mean, the best part is because this is the 90s and he's from Canada, and it just made me think of like the differences, because like they're getting him to bid on prices, but he's thinking Canadian dollars, and he's too excited, but he's going way too high on these prices. It's the funniest video of all time. You can just see how excited he is. And Bob Barker
is the crowd audibly going, "Oh," after each.
I can't remember exactly, but I do remember he's like saying it, and like Bob Barker looks annoyed as fuck, and it's so great because he's like, they're like, "It's this brand new cabinet set," and like, we'll start, and Bob Barker's like, "We'll start the bidding with you, Sherry," and she's like, this old lady's like, maybe like $450. And like, next guy's like, "Oh, I think that might be maybe like $600. And then it's like this other lady, and she's like, "I don't know. I think that might be like $800. And then it just cuts to Lon, and he's like swallowing the microphone, and he's just, all the way on it. And he's like $1,300, Bob. And it cuts to Bob, and he's got like the cue cards, and he's kind of like shuffling them, just, like, "Yo, you were off."
The actual retail price was $340.
Retail price was like $552. $1,300, Bob. I have to. My grandmother had the footage on VHS. I have to find. I think
gotta rip that. Yeah,
I have to find it. It is amazing. It was so good.
I don't know if we could play that on stream or not. I have to take a look and see if the Price is Right stuff would be copyrighted. Yeah.
I am bringing it. It is so good. It's such a great.
Because that could be
awesome.
Also,
before we leave, we wanted you to do a voice thing because I want to.
Oh yes, that's right. Yeah. So this is a special request. Yes.
Because I just want to know what it sounds like.
This is CraigPFraser does cameo on Nitromania TV's classic.
Here we go. I gotta get one in. I just want to know. Okay, using the Joker voice.
The Joker voice.
Can you? Yeah, the Joker voice. Can you do the line from Breaking Bad where he says, "I am the danger. I am the one who knocks"?
Yes. So I love that show. I love Breaking Bad. I'm trying to remember exactly how it goes because like
You don't have to do the whole thing. Maybe just those two
no.
lines.
No, just because Skylar says to him, I'm just framing the scene. Skylar says to him, she goes, because you're in danger. And he turns and he's like, who do you think you're talking to? You see, danger. Or like, but he does the whole lines about how he's like, if I go away for a day, like a company so large you could be listed on the NASDAQ, it goes belly up. And he starts like giving her all these like facts about what he does, and then he goes, I am the danger.
Yes.
I'm the one who knocks.
Yes. Yes.
Excellent.
Beautiful.
And then I had a request too.
Actually, it's I am the danger. I am the one who knocks.
Aha.
I am the danger. I am the one who knocks.
There we go.
Like it.
Yes.
my request was if you could do the Joker voice with the Macho Man, I am the cream promo from the
Oh, for God's sake.
1987.
Because the cream rises to the top. I'm the cream, and the cream therefore rises to the top.
He had a prop ready and everything.
I could even do a Ronnie Dangerfield one of that, where he's just like, oh, I'm the cream, it rises to the top. Woo. Get a respect.
You know what I'm saying?
Over here. I'm the cream, I rise to the top.
Hey, no respect here. Oh, hey, oh.
I am the danger.
Although
Oh,
mine's kind of comes
fine,
across
no
more like
respect.
Dice Clay a little bit. So it's like, hey, oh.
I'm the
That's
I
the
can't.
same thing.
Hey, oh, no, the
Dice
cream.
fucking
Yo,
Clay.
holy.
Robert De Niro's like, no, I am the danger. I'm the one who knocks. I will not hesitate.
This is going to be, I swear, this should be like the casting thing of like, we're going to cast different people to say those lines.
Christopher
What about
Walken
you?
would be good with that line. I am the
Oh, I got it.
danger.
I am
Oh, you just did it.
the danger. I am the one who knocks.
Very good,
You
very
get
good.
very quiet for it.
Yeah.
He's like, I am the one who knocks.
Yes, he does, yeah. Because I
Knocking,
am the
I'm
danger.
the cream. The cream rises to the top.
Stop.
But see, you think about that and how that line is delivered in the show and that stuff and everything, and it could definitely come right out of a Macho Man Randy Savage promo too.
Oh, great. Absolutely. My favorite, actually,
Go
one of my
for it.
clips in my pick pool, I have a YouTube clip that I've taken off the internet to like, because I'm the commissioner of my pick pool league, so I always call myself the commish.
Yeah.
So whenever somebody like misses a pick or they're late on picks and stuff, and they're like, oh, commish, I'm sorry, I got my picks in. I send them the clip of Christopher Walken from the Country Bears where he's crushing. He is like sitting at his desk and he's got no pants on. He has like this like huge device that like pushes it, and it's like because he's trying to destroy Country Bear Hall.
Yes.
Giant anvil crushes the fucking thing, and he just as it breaks, he's like, "Oh no, Country Bear Hall has been crushed." And it's just a montage of him being like, "Oh no." So I just send that to people, and they're like, "Can I still get my picks in?" It's just like, "Oh no!" I said, "Oh no, your picks are late."
Your picks are late. Can't do it. All right.
I don't know if you know this one, but can you do a Nicolas Cage?
Who, what, where?
The bees.
Who, what, when?
No,
where,
not
why?
the bees.
Not the bees.
I'm gonna stare.
The bees.
The bees.
I'm gonna steal the Declaration of Independence. I can't do that.
Yeah.
It's just
How
briefly.
about Jesse Ventura? He is the danger. He is the one who knocks.
I am the danger. I'm the one who knocks. Because
There you go.
I was in the Navy SEALs.
Oh, God.
We did a practice thing called Nicky Nicky Nine Doors, where we would go around and knock on our enemies' bases to let them know that we were coming. That's how effective we were as a team. I was always knocking. I was the knock man. That's what they called me.
Well, folks,
I just
That's
thought of an
it.
entire rant, but I can't do the voice. This is so unfair.
I can't add anything more to that. So I'll bid these gentlemen adieu for this time. Join us next time here on the channel on Nitromaniac TV's Wrestling Unlimited. We got my pick coming up. We also later this month, don't forget, it's December upcoming. So I gotta figure out with these guys what day is a good day for our annual Christmas extravaganza. Yes, the most uncensored, wildest live stream of the year, even though these have been pretty wild. And that's
Alex Jones, the danger who knocks. Alex Jones.
I'm the danger. I'm the one who knocks. Right, I got the proof right here to prove it. The damn lying Democrats want to tell you that they don't know where the danger is. But I am the danger.
And the cream.
Sorry, I'm getting pissed.
It's Alex Jones, the cream that rises to the top.
I am the cream who rises to the top. That is what I do, because I did this 16 dossier for the FBI that they released last week, saying that I'm the cream.
His Alex Jones doing that sounds like Taz, like the Tasmanian Devil from the WWF. A little bit.
No.
Cool. Holy shit, cool. Brooklyn Taz.
No, the other Taz.
Yeah.
Rocket Buster. Well, here come the pain.
Getting real frustrated here, Cole.
Getting frustrated, yeah. So, anyways, thanks again, guys, for joining us again here on stream for Nitromaniac TV's Wrestling Unlimited Classic NITROSTAKE WrestleMania X8 in opinion and review. We'll see you guys later on in the month of December. And yes, you got less than a month to get your Christmas stuff in. So get going with the Christmas shopping gimmick. You need it. Go.
Do it.
Take us along and go.
I'm the danger. I'm the one who knocks.
Tracy
We'll see you guys next time on the channel.
You got the little man, you got the big man, and you got the bigger man.